Hello, welcome to the Fanfic Majesty. 3 Op Hus. Chapter 41. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Wine Barrel. Bucks Choate, the pirates who were talking to him, and the pirates who were binging and drinking around, stopped their movements. The noisy bar fell silent for a moment. Because the justice cloak worn by Mu Feng is really too eye-catching. Marine. Hee hee. I didn't expect that there would still be Marine who would dare to come and die. The bearded pirate showed a grim smile. Stepping towards Mu Feng, he said, "Since you are here, don't even think about going back. Make a fist." The dark armament hockey wraps the fist. Hit Mu Feng's head straight. His expression became more and more arrogant, and he seemed to have seen Mu Feng become a headless corpse. Finger pistol. M500. Mu Feng's voice was flat. On the other hand, the bearded pirate suddenly stiffened in place. The expression on his face was still hideous and hateful, but there was a trace of blankness in his eyes. And a little higher, at the position of his forehead right between his eyebrows, a huge hole, like being stabbed by a thick steel bar. The blood, mixed with brains, dripped drop by drop on the ground, looking a bit coquettish. Mu Feng doesn't care who this guy is, just a damn pirate. Advertisement. Marine, who are you? Bacchus Choate's expression became a little serious. The guy who died just now was a small boss under his own hands. Although he was not a big pirate, he offered a reward of over 100 million yuan. It was also counted as the number one person in the first half of the Grand Line. Just one face-to-face was resolved. Bucks Choate thinks he can't do it. Keg, Bucks Choate. Mu Feng said with interest. If he were another pirate, Mu Feng might not know him yet. But this guy, Mu Feng knew about it. Of course, not because of how high his reward amount is. But because this guy appeared in the plot, was rescued by Blackbeard from the infinite hell of Impel Down, joined the Blackbeard pirates and participated in the battle for the top. Unexpectedly, now, he has not been imprisoned in Impel Down. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Well, you are lucky to meet me. Bacchus has no doubts about Mu Feng knowing himself. After all, he is a big pirate with a reward of more than 500 million. Even if he is placed in New World, he is considered the number one person. It's just that Conqueror's hockey couldn't raise his head in New World after all. This time he hit the Marine branch of Champagne to show off his notoriety and increase the bounty by the way. Get to know Monkey D. Mu Feng, Lieutenant General of Naval Headquarters. The purpose of coming here this time is to wipe out your damn group of pirates. Mu Feng smiled lightly. The tone is flat, as if narrating a trivial matter. Monkey D. Mu Feng. The Marine who killed Jack Drought. Didn't it mean that you have defeated 7 warlords of the sea recently? Advertisement. How is it possible? You believe it too. Quote. The surrounding pirates talked a lot. Obviously, they are no strangers to the name of Mu Feng. In the past few weeks, the popularity of the word Mu Feng is no less than that of 4 emperors. Marine, are you the only one here? Bacchus asked suddenly. Otherwise, Mu Feng asked rhetorically. It seems that Admiral has not been dispatched, so I can rest assured. Bucks said. Brothers, go together and kill this Marine. Remember, keep his head. Then we can take his head, after it is handed over to Kaido. I am the new Drought, and we will all be under the Zeely of Beasts pirates from now on. Bacchus' words were extremely provocative, and the pirates around were excited. Brothers, kill this guy and join Beasts pirates. Haha. Then we don't have to be afraid anymore in New World. For ordinary pirates, it is definitely an honor to join the 4 Emperors pirate group, at least with a backstage. Hearing what Bacchus said, Mu Feng frowned. It seems that I killed Jack because I annoyed Kaido. Directly become the new Drought disaster, Tusk. It's really big enough. Mu Feng didn't know that, at the same time, Kaido also released a 1 billion reward or an ancient devil fruit reward. Advertisement. Seeing the pirates rushing towards him, Mu Feng secretly said, killing one by one is too much trouble. That being the case, then. Finger pistol. Metal storm explosion. After blessing the ability to burst fruits, Mu Feng used finger pistol for the first time metal storm explosion. The power really shocked Mu Feng himself. Whenever the corner of your clothes touches finger pistol's chi jin will immediately explode. The explosion effect caused by each explosion is definitely not inferior to tactical grenade. It's just this finger pistol metal storm explosion. The pirates who besieged Mufeng are all dead. The rest of the pirates also stopped. Although joining Beast's pirates is very tempting, the prerequisite is to have life to enjoy. As this Marine 6 styles are devil fruit. Even a big pirate like Bacchus can't distinguish Mufeng's methods at all. Give it a guess. A smile appeared on Mufeng's face, but a knife flashed in his hand. Facing Mufeng, Bacchus only felt that his neck was a little itchy, but he just raised his hand and touched his neck. His head fell directly. What happened? Why did my head fall? As soon as the thought appeared in his mind, Bacchus' consciousness plunged into darkness. Even if he had killed Bacchus Chote, Mufeng also had no idea whether this guy was a fruit-powered person or a hockey powerhouse, and Mufeng was not interested in figuring it out. Marshal D. Teach of the Whitebeard pirate group didn't know that Admiral, a member of his future ship, had been slaughtered by Mufeng. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. Advertisement. Chapter 42. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. GR1, GR2, GR3, the pirates on the Chambordyan Islands have been purged. As the last island on the Grand Line that leads to New World, there are many pirates here. Even from GR1 to GR30, they belong to the illegal zone that Marine cannot control. A rough calculation shows that the number of pirates is definitely tens of thousands. This is why when the pirates of the Chambord Islands gathered to attack the Marine branch was defeated so quickly. Faced with tens of times the enemy, it is strange not to be defeated. Otherwise, it is only the keg, Bacchus leading the pirates attacking the Marine branch. It is estimated that before touching the branch gate, he will be directly bombarded by artillery fire. However, pirates have not always been disciplined creatures. After attacking the Marine branch, they once again became birds and beasts scattered throughout the Chambord Islands. Therefore, there will be one or two hard stubbles from time to time when cleaning up. For example, Paramesh's temperature fruit ability Heimudinger Green. Being able to raise or lower the temperature of any part of his body, coupled with fairly good physical skills, when hitting the Marine branch, he used his ability to burn Lieutenant General Oda, and then Oda would be bucket. Bacchus gave an easy kill. When Marine was purged to GR3, I met this guy. Just a face-to-face, this guy killed more than a dozen Marines. Fortunately, Guy, who had eaten the fruit of the tiger, carried him, and then insisted on Mufeng to come over. Advertisement. Ever since, this guy is tragic. In Mufeng's hands, he didn't even last 30 seconds. The pirate who was running rampant in the first half of the Grand Line drank hate directly. However, it is a pity that Mufeng did not burst out the temperature fruit, but burst out a super thermometer. The temperature that can be measured has no upper or lower limit. It sounds awesome, but in fact, there is no use for eggs. In just one night, Mufeng wiped out all the pirates in the Chambord Islands. Originally, according to Mufeng's vision, it would take a week to eliminate all the pirates, even if a few slipped fish might escape, it would not hurt. However, the pirates died. When Marine finished GR3, the pirates on other islands also got the news. However, to Mufeng's expectation, the pirates didn't even want to escape. Gathered together, intending to kill Marine once. In this case, Mufeng also put away his last trace of pity. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. The 8,000 swordsmanship was born for killing, so under Mufeng's sword, whether it is a reward of millions or tens of millions, it is a great pirate of hundreds of millions. They couldn't withstand a knife, and the sword was killed by a pirate. In the end, Marines were not as fast as Mufeng slaughtered the pirates. Mufeng ignored the impact of the Champagne massacre. After talking on the phone with Sengoku, Sengoku only confessed to deal with the corpse to prevent the plague or disease caused by the rancid entity. Regarding Mufeng's slaughter of pirates, Sengoku only mentioned it in one sentence. Let Mufeng pay more attention to it in the future. You know, Marine pays much attention to his feathers. Unless the sin is unforgivable, our execution can bring great benefits to Marine. For example, such pirates as Roger, the son of Sin, Ace, will be executed. Otherwise, even big pirates like Golden Lion are impelled down. Advertisement. This happened in the Chambord Islands, so in the end, Sengoku ordered Mufeng to station in the Chambord Islands for a period of time, and then return to naval headquarters when the situation stabilized. Of course Mu Feng was pleased to be ordered, he was worried about how he could stay for a while longer. Sitting in his office, Mu Feng holds a title deed. This was found from Bacchus after he killed Bacchus. As a beryl, Bacchus not only loves to drink, but also runs the largest tavern in Chambord, the one where Bacchus was killed. This is why, a New World pirate unexpectedly appeared on the Chambord Islands. The size of the tavern is similar to that of a human auction venue. Looking at the land deed in his hand, an original idea in Mu Feng's mind gradually took shape. Mind moving, basic ninjutsu transformation technique. His appearance has become the Senju Hashirama in his memory, wearing a vermilion Japanese shirt, with long hair, and an older appearance. Basic ninjutsu body flicker technique. Mu Feng's figure disappeared directly in place. GR1 Island. Advertisement. After the pirates were cleared out, there was basically no sign of people. Ready to start. Mu Feng came to the tavern where Bacchus was beheaded. Wood-style wooden hammer. Mu Feng quickly settled. A huge wooden hammer appeared, directly smashing the tavern into ruins. Mu Feng did not stop, and continued to seal with both hands, wood-style four-pillar house technique. A huge wooden building appeared, with 3 floors and a full tens of meters high. And on its door plaque, there are a few large characters written Hunter Guild. That's right, it is the Hunter Guild, the full name, Hunter Association and Review Committee. This is the second identity that Mu Feng has erected for himself after thinking for a long time. Hunters Guild Guild Leader. Post missions with an absolutely neutral attitude, no matter what kind of missions, finding lost items, buying murderers, offering rewards for pirates, even offering rewards for marine is all right. Moreover, anyone can post tasks, and similarly, anyone can receive tasks. Of course, after completing the task, the guild will collect a 20% handling fee. Mu Feng basically moved the Hunters Guild among full-time hunters. Well, the guild station has been settled. So next, it's time to find some hunters. Chambord Islands. Looks like there is a good candidate. Mu Feng said, touching his chin. Then a few dodges have disappeared on the GR1 island. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. Advertisement. Chapter 43. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Well, it's here. After walking for a long time on the GR13 island in Chambord, Mu Feng finally found this place Shachi's hold-up bar. Pushing the door and walking in directly, he brought the wind chime next to him and shook it with a crisp sound. Business is bleak. There is no one in the empty bar. The bars in the illegal zone are for pirates. Now that the pirates have been eliminated by Mu Feng, where will there be patrons who drink? Of course, this is not the case. In front of the wine cabinet behind the bar, a woman is wiping the glass in her hand. Short hair, black jacket. Mu Feng sits directly on the bar chair in front of the bar. He took out a stack of Bailey and put it on the bar, and said with a smile, "A glass of rum, thanks." Shachi frowned when she looked at Mu Feng. At this time, actually came to drink illegally. Shachi couldn't see through Mu Feng's identity. But he didn't say anything, and picked up an upside-down glass beside him. From a large wine barrel behind him, he filled a whole glass of rum and placed it in front of Mu Feng. He curiously said, "Brother, are you marine or a pirate?" "Neither. I am a hunter." Mu Feng smiled. "Bounty hunter. But it's not time for my brother to come here. The pirates in Chambord have been wiped out by marine. My brother probably has no prey." Shachi smiled. Advertisement. "I am a hunter, not a bounty hunter." Mu Feng shrugged. "Is there any difference?" Shachi asked. Obviously, Mu Feng successfully aroused Shachi's curiosity. Of course there is a difference. The bounty hunter just hunts the pirates. And as long as you pay the starting price, I can do any task. Mu Feng said with a smile. "Can't you take the task of hunting marine?" Shachi asked with a smile. "Take it." Mu Feng nodded. "What is the price to hunt martial marine?" Shachi asked. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. 10 Logia devil fruit. Mu Feng replied. Quote. The expression on Shachi's face was a bit stiff. 10 Logia devil fruit. Even if you scoured the treasure room of Mary Geoy's celestial dragons, you couldn't find 10 Logia devil fruits. Brother, you laughed. Mu Feng gave Shachi a blank look, the meaning in his eyes was obvious. Are you joking yourself? Hunt Martial Marine. Fortunately, what you can say, let alone Sengoku itself is a 4 Emperors level combat power. Martial Marine has been stationed in the naval headquarters for a long time, and the naval headquarters is so terrifying. In addition to Garp, the 3 Admiral, the headquarters. Nima, unless the 4 Emperors too are sent out, otherwise the naval headquarters will not be captured. For this kind of nightmare level copy, the 10 natural fruits are all at a friendly price. Brother, hurry up after drinking. It's messy here. It wouldn't be good if Marine was caught as a pirate. Shachi said with a smile. Advertisement. Of course, but before that, I want to inquire about the boss's wife. Mu Feng laughed. Who? Sha Qimen said casually. Rayleigh. Silver Rayleigh. Mu Feng said lightly. Shachi's pupils shrank abruptly, but in an instant they returned to nature. He smiled and said, Silver Rayleigh. That's One Piece's right hand, the legendary big pirate in the sea. How would I know him? Really don't know. Monster girl. Shachi. Mu Feng said indifferently. Who are you? Shachi's voice became sharp. There are not many people who can call her name in this sea. My name is Senju Hashirama, a hunter. Mu Feng laughed. I don't care if you are a hunter or a pirate. Get out of here now. Otherwise, you won't have a chance to get out of the gate here. Shachi said coldly. At the same time, the whole body's killing intent was rushing towards Mu Feng. As a member of Roger's ship, Shachi's strength should not be underestimated. And Mu Feng, who was drinking, was not affected by the murderousness at all, and continued to drink rum with a calm complexion. This made Shachi somewhat unable to figure out the depth of Mu Feng, and she did not dare to make a move. So, he and Mu Feng, who was drinking, were in a stalemate here. Tingling bell. The crisp wind bell rang again. At the same time, the sound of pushing the door sounded, and it was obvious that someone had walked in. She has a large body, wears glasses, white hair, and carries a set of coding tools behind her back. He glanced at Shachi and said, Did something happen? Shachi. Advertisement. Seeing Rayleigh coming back, Shachi finally breathed a sigh of relief. Someone came to find you. Shachi pointed at Mu Feng and said. Oh. Rayleigh was taken aback, looked at Mu Feng, and frowned. Do I know you? Who told you I was here? Shanks. Or Xiao Ba. Seeing Shachi's appearance, Rayleigh can also know the guy in front of him came for his true identity. It's not them. I learned through some special channels. Don't worry, as long as you don't raise the flag of the Roger Pirates again, I think even if Marine knows you are here, I will definitely not dare to provoke you. Mu Feng said with a smile. Provoke Rayleigh. It is equivalent to provoking the remnants of One Piece, plus a 4 Emperors. What's the matter? Rayleigh asked bluntly. Get to know Senju Hashirama, Vice President of the Hunters Guild. The purpose of coming here is to invite you to serve as the General Counsel of the Hunters Guild. Mu Feng said with a light smile. At the same time, he explained the nature of the Hunter Guild to Rayleigh. Sorry, no interest. Rayleigh refused without thinking. Don't be too busy to refuse first, you know I came here with sincerity. Don't you? Shouldn't you just check my sincerity before talking? Mu Feng laughed. If there is nothing else, please go. Rayleigh still said indifferently. For him who has been to Lavdru and knows the ultimate secret of the world. Rayleigh didn't think there was anything else in this world that could make his heart fascinated. Really? That's a shame. Mu Feng stood up, ready to go outside. Roger, but there is a child. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. Advertisement. Chapter 44. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Stop. Rayleigh suddenly stopped Mu Feng, his expression becoming solemn. Rayleigh knew that Roger might keep a child alive. After all, the world government's aggressive arrests in the South China Sea back then could not hide the intentions of the people. After this, Rayleigh also went to search, but to no avail. Hearing Rayleigh's voice, Mu Feng stopped immediately. What? Senior Rayleigh changed his mind. Mu Feng asked with a smile. How do I know what you said is true? Rayleigh stared directly at Mu Feng's eyes, and slowly said. Portkas D. Luju. Mu Feng said a name. Hearing this name, Rayleigh finally couldn't continue to calm down. Luju. He heard Roger mention the name. Roger once said that he met the most beautiful girl in the world, named Lu Ju. Of course, I still mocked Roger. As far as he looks, no girl would like him. Roger hadn't told anyone about this matter except himself. Roger's kid, where are you now? Rayleigh asked. After Roger surrendered, he told Garp that he had a child and asked Garp to help raise it. Now this child is called Bhaskar D. Ace, in the windmill village of the Goa Kingdom in the East China Sea. I believe it will not take long before he will go to sea. Mu Feng said with a smile. Don't be afraid of Rayleigh rejecting himself after learning the news. Leave it to Garp to raise. Rayleigh was obviously taken aback. Advertisement. But then he burst into laughter. After a while, he looked at Mu Feng and said, if you say Roger left the child to be raised by someone else, I might investigate it. But leave it to Garp. The only thing is that Roger is the bastard. Okay. Kid, I can join the hunter guild you mentioned. But, at least let the old man see your strength. Rayleigh said. I can't ask for it. Mu Feng looked at Rayleigh and smiled faintly. Comma. Boy, are you sure you are ready? Although I'm old, but swordsmanship hasn't fallen yet. Mu Feng and Rayleigh looked at the empty hands, neither holding a weapon, nor covering his whole body with armament hockey. Said with a smile. Facing the famous Pluto, I dare not be a little sloppy. Mu Feng smiled. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Attention, little guy, Rayleigh said lightly, and at the same time he swung out a sword, almost condensing into a substantial sword energy, and blasted towards Mu Feng without leaving his hand at all. Wood-style wooden blooming wall. A row of wooden pillars guarded Mu Feng from the ground, forming an arch to protect Mu Feng. Rayleigh's sword exploded on the wooden wall, although the wood was cut open. The wall is broken, but it has not been able to penetrate the wall of the broken wall. What a solid wood! Rayleigh raised his brow. While speaking, his figure moved rapidly, and a more terrifying sword aura blasted out. And the angle is very tricky. What surprised Rayleigh was that Mu Feng in front of him did not evade. Advertisement. Let the sword explode on yourself. Bang bang bang. The sword gas blasted on Mu Feng's body, but the sound that rang out was a few muffled sounds. This sound. Not the sound of sword energy colliding with the body. Rayleigh reacted instantly, but at this moment, behind him, Mu Feng's voice suddenly sounded, wood-style cutting technique. Hearing a sound from behind him, Rayleigh subconsciously turned on observation hockey. The top observation hockey instantly caught the sharp mallet coming from behind him. With just a few turns of the long knife in his hand, he cut off the attacking mallet. Very powerful devil fruit, but this is not enough. Rayleigh laughed. Mu Feng raised his eyebrows, and smiled. Really? In that case, I have to show some real skills. How can I be the vice president? Wood-style birthday of the tree world. The battle between Mu Feng and Rayleigh was on a rocky island. There is no vegetation, but when Mu Feng yelled out the words, birth of the tree world, huge trees madly sprouted from the rocks, growing wildly, and towering giant trees instantly covered the entire rocky island. The lush foliage blocked Rayleigh's vision. Rayleigh's face changed slightly, and he slashed with a knife, and a more terrifying sword aura attacked. The sharp sword energy did not know how many giant trees were cut off, but as soon as it was cut off, thicker trees would appear on the ground, endless, and no end at all. Advertisement. It's amazing. Has it reached the level of awakening at this level? When did such a powerful man appear on the sea? Rayleigh sighed. However, the speed of the body's movement is not slow at all, and the rabbit rises and falls. The role of the tree world is to change the terrain. Make the surrounding environment more conducive for Mu Feng to release wood-style ninjutsu. Wood-style wood dragon technique. With the voice of Mu Feng, who did not know where he was, a huge wooden dragon suddenly appeared in the tree world. It had a long hooked nose and a huge wooden dragon with sharp wooden thorns. Wanting to bite into Rayleigh. In the face of the giant wooden dragon, Rayleigh's expression finally became solemn. Exhale deeply, as if lifting the spirit of the whole body. With a sharp slash, the pale sword energy cut the air and blasted the head of the dragon. In an instant, he cut off more than half of Mulong's head. However, in the environment of the birth of the tree world, the wooden dragon quickly recovered. At this time, it was Rayleigh, and his face was a little ugly. Anyone would be upset when dealing with this monster that can recover indefinitely. Rayleigh, who was staring at the wooden dragon, suddenly shrank his pupils, and the terrifying conqueror's Haki Setsuna came out. The pressure stunned the wooden dragon, and the wooden dragon's movements froze, and cracks appeared on the body. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. Advertisement. Chapter 45. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Conqueror's Haki. Although only Roger's deputy, Rayleigh's Conqueror's Haki is definitely not inferior to Roger's. If it is hierarchical, it will definitely be at full level, even breaking the boundaries of Conqueror's Haki. The high-level Conqueror's Haki has terrifying destructive power. It can even tear the sky. Suddenly, Rayleigh leapt high, suddenly into the sky hundreds of meters. The long knife in his hand was suddenly drawn out. The pale sword aura came out loudly and crashed into the ground. With this sword, Rayleigh clearly did his best. In terms of swordsmanship alone, Rayleigh is undoubtedly the great swordsman, and the great swordsman goes all out. The power is absolutely terrifying. The terrifying sword energy directly tore the entire ground. The rocky island was cut in half directly from the center. Moreover, the sword of Rayleigh seems to have directly destroyed the foundation of this island. The split island gradually sinks into the sea. Rayleigh looked embarrassed and said, "Boy, the venue is destroyed, let's end our competition first." Advertisement. In Rayleigh's view, Mufeng is demon fruit power. If you lose your foothold on the sea, those who are capable are equal to losing without a fight. Termination. Now you are in the mood. Why do you want to terminate? Mufeng's voice sounded, and his fighting spirit was high. Wood-style wooden golem jutsu. The rocky island sank, but a giant bigger than the rocky island went to stand up. With a wooden dragon on his left and right shoulders, Mufeng stood alone on top of wooden golem's head. Wooden golem stood in the sea, and the sea was only submerged at his knees. Wooden golem approached Rayleigh, who was standing on the water, and Rayleigh's expression was a little surprised. The reason for the shock is not because of this huge wooden golem. It is necessary to know that there are many giants in the pirate world because the giants are bigger than this wooden golem. What made Rayleigh shocked was Mufeng at this moment, except for vermilion lines appearing on Mufeng's face at this moment. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. The body of the fairy can also be called Sage Mode. Wood Style Sunro Vientian. The bonus to Wood Style in Sage Mode is absolutely terrifying, and Sun Luo Wanxiang is definitely one of the powerful ninjutsu in Wood Style. Numerous roots suddenly grow from the bottom of the sea, entangled in Rayleigh. Although Rayleigh is not a devil fruit capable person, he will not be affected by the sea. But the skill of standing on the water requires maintaining a balance of strength. At this time, he was entangled by the surrounding roots, and Rayleigh couldn't help but feel a little tired of coping. Mainly because, under the perfusion of Mufeng's immortal power, the growth of Sanluo Vientian will never stop. Faced with this situation, everyone will have a headache. Advertisement. Rayleigh obviously knew that he couldn't be entangled with these roots all the time. Otherwise, once the energy is exhausted, it will be defeated by then. Rayleigh turned his attention to Mufeng on the wooden golem. Shooting people first shoots horses, as long as Mufeng is resolved. Then these roots will disappear naturally. Sword Chi opened the way, stepping on the air. Rayleigh attacked Mufeng. Good coming. Sage Art Mingshenman. Mufeng suddenly raised the corner of his mouth. Rayleigh suddenly became alert, and his mind was placed on the surface of the sea below. He didn't know what else would come out of the sea. However, Rayleigh miscalculated. This time it was not below, but above. The vermilion Torii-shaped building fell from the sky. It fell directly on Rayleigh's body, without time to react at all. The Mingshan gate stood on Rayleigh's body and smashed it directly into the sea. If you do this to someone who is capable, you will definitely die. Although Rayleigh was not a capable person, the firmness of the Myojin gate was used to restrain the beast. When Rayleigh emerged from the sea again, he was already in a panic, panting heavily in his mouth. Obviously breaking free from the shackles of the Myoko in the sea, it took Rayleigh too much physical strength. After all, Rayleigh was no longer young. Do you want to continue the contest? Mufeng condescendingly said indifferently. Rayleigh looked helpless, and said, "Stop fighting. Stop fighting. If you continue to fight, my old bones are about to fall apart." Advertisement. Then my strength can still be in the eyes of seniors. Mufeng smiled faintly. Rayleigh smiled bitterly. This kind of strength is probably not much better than Shank's. How could such a terrifying guy suddenly pop up on the sea? I'm joining your Hunters Guild. Come on, kid, what is your purpose? My old bones can't stand the toss. Rayleigh smiled bitterly. The purpose. Haven't I already said it? It's that simple to set up a hunter guild to accept any task for everyone, and to be executed by our approved hunters. If you want to ask a deeper purpose, frown. After a while, he smiled freely and freely. Don't you always think? There are only two kinds of marine and pirates in this sea, isn't it just a bit monotonous? Let us Hunter Guild come to infuse this sea new vitality. Let's turn the world upside down, isn't that bad? Ahahaha. At the end, Mu Feng suddenly laughed cheerfully. Looking at Mu Feng, Rayleigh lost consciousness for a while, and memories flashed in his eyes. Decades ago, the guy with the straw hat confuses himself on board the same way. Suddenly Rayleigh laughed and said, well, I'll go crazy while my old bone can still move. Hear you, if there are only pirates and marines in this sea, it would be a bit monotonous. Rayleigh has a hunch that in this sea soon, it will set off the era of hunters just like when Roger set off a pirate frenzy. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. Advertisement. Chapter 46. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Mu Feng used the power of wood style to create a platform on the sea. Looking at Rayleigh sitting directly on the ground with no image, he smiled and handed a card. Wood, red all over, with the word hunter written on the front and number 0003 on the back. Hunter's license. The Hunters Guild does not recognize people, only licenses. Mu Feng said. Rayleigh took the hunter's license and took a look. Somewhat puzzled, he said, no. 3. In addition to you and me, there are other hunters. Of course, didn't I say it? I'm just the vice president. Mu Feng smiled. It's just the vice president. Rayleigh just remembered at this time, in Shachi's rip-off bar, Mu Feng's self-introduction. An interested look appeared on his face, and he asked, the vice president is already so powerful, I am curious, who is the president? President. Mu Feng showed a meaningful smile on his face. After a long while, he said, don't worry, I will see you sooner or later. And in terms of strength, the chairman is more than 10 times stronger than me. Now, Rayleigh was even more horrified. Rayleigh has just seen Mu Feng's strength. Advertisement. Even in a fierce battle with myself, my face is not red, and I still don't breathe. Obviously, he hadn't really used all his strength yet, it was definitely 4 Emperor's level combat power. And the strength is 10 times more terrifying than him. What a monster. I'm afraid that Whitebeard's world #1 name will change hands. Rayleigh couldn't believe that there would really be such a terrifying existence in the world. But I have to believe that, if this terrifying guy in front of me can be willing to succumb, and without the slightest complaint, he can already get a glimpse of it. By the way, General Counsel Rayleigh, if the red-haired guy comes to you next time, he can give them some hunter licenses. After all, our hunters don't look at their status. But there is a minimum standard, and it must be Zai's hockey. The strong are capable of devil fruit, of course, swordsmen above the swordsman level will do. And that is, hunter licenses are issued after the 20th, and before the 20th it will be appointed by the chairman. Mu Feng told Rayleigh everything he could think of. Rayleigh didn't speak, he was listening all the time. Until Mu Feng finished speaking, he smiled and said, in other words, I was appointed by the chairman himself. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Of course, including your old news, the chairman told me. When I first heard it, I was shocked. I didn't expect the famous Pluto Rayleigh to become a coding artisan in the Chambord Islands. Mu Feng said quite honestly. Hee. Really? When you say that, I look forward to meeting the president. Rayleigh said with a smile. Don't worry, there will be a chance. Mu Feng smiled. Chambord Islands, Marine Branch Base. Advertisement. Office of the Minister of Branch. Mu Feng also holds a Red Hunter license, numbered No 0004. This is a hunter license prepared by Mu Feng for his marine status. However, it is obvious that it will not be used for a long period of time. At the very least, we have to wait until the Hunter Guild has truly become a behemoth and the world government has to recognize its status. As for the chairman of number 0001, not at all. Knowing the unknown is the most frightening. Putting away the hunter's license, Mu Feng is going to take a tour of the base. The marine bases in the entire Chambord Islands are now undergoing fierce reconstruction. Palm. At this moment, the phone worm on the side table suddenly rang. It was Marshal Sengoku. Marshal Sengoku, what's the matter? Mu Feng said. Mu Feng, are you in the Chambordian Islands now? Sengoku asked bluntly. The tone seemed very anxious. Yeah, did something happen? Mu Feng asked. The former admiral of headquarters, now the chief instructor of naval headquarters, Zephyr, led the marine practice ship to New World for a mission and was attacked by pirates. The sea area where the accident occurred is very close to the Chambord Islands, and it can be reached by passing through the windless zone. Lieutenant General Mu Feng. Now, quickly go to the sea area where the accident occurred to rescue Zephyr. Sengoku said anxiously. Advertisement. Understood. Master Marshal, I will rush to now. Mu Feng replied immediately. Sengoku on the other end of the phone worm also breathed a sigh of relief. Mu Feng's battleship is the latest battleship developed by Vegapunk. If it advances at full speed, it will take half a day to reach the accidental sea area. As a former admiral, Zephyr is very strong. There is no problem in insisting on the first half of the day. And Mu Feng's strength, admiral level, undoubtedly, can completely solve Zephyr's crisis. Guy. Putting down the phone worm, Mu Feng shouted. Within 3 seconds, Guy appeared in front of Mu Feng. As an adjutant, Guy is absolutely competent. Standing straight, Guy said, Lord Admiral, please order. In 5 minutes, the whole ship has boarded and assembled. Through the windless zone at full speed, we must arrive at New World within 5 hours. Mu Feng ordered. Yes, Lieutenant General. Without any doubt, Guy replied. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. Advertisement. Chapter 47. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Vegapunk deserves to be hailed as a scientist who has surpassed human wisdom for 500 years. The warship at Mu Feng's feet is advancing at full speed regardless of strain, and can even reach a terrifying speed of 130 knots. It is placed in Mu Feng. The past life is absolutely unimaginable. As the battleship sailed across the sea, the white waves that lined up made loud noises at the same time. Such a movement will obviously alarm the sea kings under the sea, but whenever there is a sea king, it will be directly killed by Mu Feng. Mu Feng stood at the bow of the ship, and the great cloak of justice behind him was hunting. Whitebeard too. Edward Wabel. Mu Feng didn't have much impression of this guy. In the original book, it only said that the training ship led by Zephyr that this guy attacked killed all of Zephyr's students, and only Ain and Bin survived. He even cut off one of Zephyr's arms, showing that his strength is very strong. Later, after the Battle of the Top, this guy became Shichibukai. This made Zephyr, who dedicated his life to Marine and whose family members were all killed by pirates, began to have a strong sense of doubt and distrust within Marine, and resolutely withdrew from Marine and established Neo Marine, with the goal of destroying pirates all over the world. But it seems that in this era, this guy hasn't shown up much. I don't know if it's because Whitebeard hasn't died yet. Advertisement. And Edward Wabel's toughness is unquestionable. You know, Kizaru claims that he has the same power as Whitebeard when he was young. The power of Whitebeard when I was young. I am very interested. Mu Feng's eyes clearly showed endless fighting spirit. On the Sea of New World, an old-fashioned admiral battleship. A huge bang sounded on the battleship, and on the battleship, Zephyr with purple hair was fighting fiercely with a fat Edward Wabel who was holding a huge naginata. The warships seemed to be somewhat unable to withstand the battle between the two. And around, the entire battleship is full of bloodline. On Zephyr's ship, except for some Marine who was responsible for the later period. The rest were Marine recruits, and the casualties were even more serious at the moment. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Damn it. Zephyr's eyes were cracked. Marine recruits who died in the battle were all his students. For Zephyr who has lost his family, his students are like his own children. Seeing his child die in front of him, what a heartache Zephyr felt. If it weren't for this, with Zephyr's arrogance and the break with Sengoku because of the establishment of 7 warlords of the sea, how could he ask naval headquarters for help? Mom asked me to kill you all. Edward Wabel looked like an idiot, and his mother asked him to do everything he did. Although he is an idiot, his strength is very powerful. The naginata in his hand slashed towards Zephyr. Advertisement. Zephyr also clenched his fists and was wrapped in the dark armament haki. Zephyr, known as the Black Fist, is extremely proficient in armed colors. Zephyr's fist collided with the naginata in Edward Wabel's hand. Armament haki had already been used, but under the terrifying force of Edward Wabel. Zephyr's fist was still cut with blood. But Zephyr, who was almost crazy, apparently ignored it. Raising the pitch-black fist, he continued to fight Edward Wabel, and the battleship under his feet had cracked under the surplus of the 2 men. Zephyr became fierce, and the power of Marine Admiral was undoubtedly revealed. Although at the beginning of the battle, Zephyr still had the upper hand. But Zephyr is old after all, severely lacking in physical strength. After falling into a fight, Zephyr slowly went from having the upper hand to becoming evenly matched and then at the disadvantage. So now, it is completely suppressed and beaten by Wabel. Wabel, what are you doing? Hurry up and kill this guy. Not far away, a short but extremely coquettish old woman shouted. This woman is Miss Ba Jin, claims to be Whitebeard's lover and Wabel's mother. Mom is in a hurry, let me kill you quickly. Wabel exclaimed. Advertisement. When the voice fell, the muscles of his arm suddenly swelled by 3 points. Holding naginata in both hands, he fiercely slashed towards Zephyr. Obviously, this is Wabel's full blow. Seeing such a blow, Zephyr gritted his teeth, but didn't mean to dodge. Because if this blow is not blocked by oneself, then the battleship underneath will definitely be destroyed, and many of his students are capable. Falling into the sea. Soon you will drown and die. Armament haki covered his right arm, and Zephyr decided he wanted to resist the blow. Yusaka no Guyu. Suddenly a voice sounded, and this voice was followed by the tearing sound of the air. Wabel was obviously taken aback, and the movement in his hand was also a slight pause. In this gap, a huge 3-hook jade-shaped weapon smashed over and hit Wabel. He blasted Ghoul out, almost blasting into the sea. Zephyr looked at him for a moment, then turned his head and looked over. I saw a huge blue-purple monster running wildly on the sea. Zephyr was puzzled. In the past few months, he led the recruits on missions in New World, so although he heard the name of Mu Feng, he had not seen Mu Feng personally. I am Lieutenant General of Naval Headquarters, Monkey D. Mu Feng. Zephyr Admiral, Marshal Sengoku ordered me to support, and leave the next battle to me. Mu Feng said. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. Advertisement. Chapter 48. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Zephyr breathed a sigh of relief when he heard Mu Feng report his name. His complexion looks better. He and Garp have a very good relationship. He nodded and Zephyr said, Lieutenant General Mu Feng, the old man is no longer Marine Admiral. Just call me Zephyr. Mu Feng smiled and said, Senior Zephyr, let me take the next battle. I think there are still a lot of wounded on the battleship. If they are treated as soon as possible, there is still great hope for survival. As for the rest of the sea, thief, leave it to my adjutant. Well, pay attention, this guy is very powerful. Zephyr nodded. Although it is not clear about Mu Feng's strength, Zephyr still has all heard of Mu Feng's record. Kill Jack, Drought, and defeat 7 warlords of the sea. Such a remarkable record, I am afraid that the strength has already surpassed him. And seeing the appearance of Mu Feng, what Edward Wabel did in the first place was neither attacking him nor ranting loudly. Instead, he looked at Miss Ba Jin on his boat stupidly, waiting for his mother's instructions. Idiot. Go and kill him. Miss Ba Jin in the distance said angrily. Noisy. Mu Feng frowned. Yusaka no Goyu held in Susano's hand through again. Advertisement. With a bang, the pirate ship carrying Miss Ba Jin was blasted into scum by Yusaka Goyu. And she naturally fell into the sea. Before he had time to call his son to save him, Susano's heavy fist suddenly struck out, and Miss Ba Jin became a mass of flesh. Mu Feng does not beat women, but old women and ugly women are not included. Mom. Edward Wabel reacted for a long time. With anger in his eyes, He stared at Mu Feng fiercely, saying, You guy. You dare to kill my mother who loves me the most. I must kill you today. Obviously, Mu Feng hit kill. Miss. Barking completely angered Edward Wabel. And Edward Wabel is a fool. As the saying goes, I would rather provoke death than madness. The desperate ones also know that they are afraid, but some people are crazy but don't know that it is afraid. And Edward Wabel is obviously such a crazy fool. Holding a huge naginata, the wailing man charged towards Mu Feng. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. He wanted to hack Mu Feng to avenge his mother. Although he is stupid, he is able to cross border in New World. Wabel's armament hockey has cultivated to the extreme. Armament hockey was wrapped around the naginata, and the fist facing Susano was just cut off. The naginata cut the air, and the startled sound exploded. Susano's fist collided with Wabel's naginata, and there was a loud noise. The howling air wave set off a huge wave of tens of meters. The Marine recruits who survived all around looked at the battle before him in amazement, and even Zephyr looked at Mu Feng in shock. The naginata in Wabel's hand slashed directly into Susano's fist. Wabel's tremendous power made Mu Feng amazed. Advertisement. This is Susano in the second form. When Susano and Jack in the first form were fighting against each other, they couldn't destroy it. It seems that Kizaru described it as having the power of Whitebeard when he was young. It is not a lie. It is estimated that compared to Whitebeard when he was young, what Wabel lacks is shock fruit and conqueror's hockey, and the most important brain. Disarm Susano and stand in front of Wabel holding the mammoth blade. Similarly, armament hockey is wrapped in mammoth blade. Without any hesitation, Mu Feng rushed to Wabel. You know the body with the fairy body bonus, but it's abnormal to the extreme, and it will not be inferior to the Wabel in front of him. Without any reservation, Mu Feng and Wabel fought together. It's amazing. Lieutenant General Mu Feng is so amazing. I feel that Lieutenant General Mu Feng is even better than Teacher Zephyr. How is it possible? Teacher Zephyr was admiral before. Quote. The surrounding Marine recruits talked a lot. They had never seen how Mu Feng fought 6 Shichibukai alone in naval headquarters. They still think that their teacher, the former Marine Admiral Zephyr, is the most powerful Marine. Under Mu Feng's crazy offensive, Wabel retreated steadily. Advertisement. Wabel's greatest reliance is his own terrifying and arrogant power. But when he faced Mu Feng of the 8,000 sword style, he was extremely aggrieved. Because every Wabel hits with full force, but it will be relieved by Mu Feng 99%. What's more, Mu Feng's strength is not weak. As for Wabel's sword technique, I'm sorry, there is no constitution, let alone the sword technique. Under Mu Feng's attack, he could barely parry. The scattered sword aura cut through the sea again and again, and even Guy, who had just arrived, had to order the warship to retreat several nautical miles to avoid being affected by the sword aura. How is it possible? How can you be better than me? Wabel was surprised. I'm Whitebeard's son. Mom said, except for Dad. I'm the best in the world, you can't be better than me. Are you Whitebeard's son or not? I don't know. But if I want to have a son like you, I probably have the heart to die. Mu Feng said with a smile. While Wabel was distracted, the mammoth blade in his hand had already pierced Wabel's heart. The terrifying sword aura suddenly violent, and directly tore Wabel in half. With shock in his eyes, Wabel crashed to the ground. Killing Wabel unexpectedly broke 27 armament hockey exclusive experience scrolls, and 33 advanced experience scrolls, a good harvest. Edward Wabel, the pirate who has not yet been known in the sea, has directly died under the sword of Mu Feng. As for whether he is Whitebeard's son, Mu Feng is too lazy to care. If Whitebeard wants to make trouble, Mu Feng will definitely not be afraid. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. Advertisement. Chapter 49. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Good swordsmanship, crazy swordsmanship. Seeing Mu Feng beheading Wabel, Zephyr on the side could not help sighing. He had fought Wabel just now, which was absolutely comparable to Admiral's strength, and he was killed by Mu Feng so easily. Mu Feng smiled. In fact, Wabel did not perform so weakly. You must know that he had been fighting Zephyr for several hours before that. However, even Edward Wabel is in full bloom. For Mu Feng, it's just a little tricky. That old bastard Garp is lucky to have such a good grandson, Zephyr said. Mu Feng's arrival was fairly timely, and few recruits on the ship died in battle. Although a lot of people were seriously injured, they still saved their lives. Zephyr didn't blame too much in his heart. After all, from the moment you become a marine, you have to be prepared to lose your life in the ocean. Okay, kid, I'll take care of the follow-up. Regarding the situation here, it's up to you to report to Sengoku. Zephyr waved his hand and said. Okay. Mu Feng smiled and nodded. For Zephyr, this old man who has dedicated his life to marine, even if you don't like it, you will definitely not hate it. It is worthy of respect. The phone worm was connected, and before Mu Feng could speak, Sengoku hurriedly asked, Mu Feng, how's the situation going? Is the guy Zephyr injured? How about the casualties? Who is it? How dare to attack the marine battleship? For Zephyr, this old friend, Sengoku is obviously also very worried. Advertisement. Zephyr Admiral has no serious injuries, and the number of casualties should be less than 20. Mu Feng made a rough estimate and then replied. Hearing Mu Feng's report, Sengoku breathed a sigh of relief. No serious casualties are good. If there are serious casualties, not only will it be a blow to Marine's reputation, but it will also be a heavy blow to Zephyr. Who is that? How dare you openly attack the Marine battleship, under the command of the 4 emperors? No, it's a guy named Edward Wabel. Mu Feng replied. It's this guy. Sengoku's voice was a little surprised. Marshal, you know this guy. He said he was Whitebeard's son. Mu Feng was really curious about Wabel's true identity. I'm not sure about this. This guy appeared under the banner of Whitebeard's son. Whitebeard didn't admit it, but he didn't deny it. The only thing that is certain is that Miss Barking is not Wabel's mother. By the way, what about that guy? That's it, Sengoku said. For Miss Barkin is not Wabel's mother, as an individual can tell. If Wabel is really Whitebeard's son. If Miss Barking is Wabel's mother, it can only prove that Whitebeard is blind, and Whitebeard is not. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Well, Wabel has been killed by me. Mu Feng said lightly. Quote. Sengoku was silent slightly. After a while, Sengoku said dryly. Well, good job. Wabel is comparable to Admiral's combat power, and he said so easily. Thanks to the Marshal for the compliment. Is there anything else? Mu Feng said. Advertisement. Yeah. By the way, don't stay in New World for long, return to Chambord as soon as possible. Sengoku, who was about to hang up the phone, said suddenly. What's wrong? Marshal Sengoku. Mu Feng was a little puzzled. Nothing. The guy Kaido has ordered you to kill in New World. With your strength, if the 3 plagues do something, I am not afraid. I am worried that the madman Kaido will do it himself. Sengoku said, yes, New World's trends, Marine can be said to be insightful. Oh, that's it. Mu Feng frowned. Then he smiled and said, I see, Marshal Sengoku. Sengoku on the other end of the phone worm responded and hung up the phone worm. After hanging up the phone worm, Sengoku frowned, always feeling something was wrong. After thinking about it for a long time, but didn't think of a reason, he continued to deal with the heavy marine affairs. Mu Feng boy, are you not going to return to naval headquarters? Zephyr asked. Mu Feng smiled and said, I still need to be stationed in the Chambord Islands for 3 months. It will be faster to cross the windless zone directly. Well, then I'll go first. See you at home. Zephyr said goodbye. Seeing Zephyr's warship drifting away, Mu Feng looked at Guy to the side and said, just find the nearest island and add some supplies. Guy, who heard Mu Feng's order, had a visibly stunned expression. Advertisement. When the warship's supplies are sufficient, there is no problem in sailing for 3 months, and the Mu Feng warship has just sailed out of the Chambord Islands for less than half a day, so there is no need to supplement at all. Although I don't know what Mu Feng is going to do, Guy he didn't ask. When Mu Feng's battleship landed, Kaido received the news as soon as possible. Beasts Pirates Waters. Kaido looked unhappy because he failed to commit suicide again. Wind Disaster, with a gloomy face walked up to Kaido and said, Boss, the marine who killed Jack has appeared. It's on Palmador Island. Kaido stood up. His eyes flashed. He opened his mouth and said, "Okay, I see. I can kill Jack and fight Shichibukai alone at the same time. He. I hope I can relieve my boredom. Don't die so soon." Alone, Kaido left the Sea of Beasts. Kaido left suddenly, even though Marine was inserted in the dark line of the beasts. I didn't know the news, and when Kaido appeared again, it was already on Palmador Island, and Marine's dark line reported the news to Naval Headquarters as soon as possible. The last chapter of the public chapter, it will be on the shelves at night, and the 10 chapters will be coming tomorrow. I beg your brothers for your support. Close black lens bracket. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. Advertisement. Chapter 50. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. What? The guy Kaido appeared near Palmador Island. What are you going to do with this lunatic? Do you want to single out the Big Mom pirates? Pay attention to the surveillance, and if there is a fight, tell me report. Sengoku was already utterly battered. Palmador Island belongs to the radiation area of the Big Mom pirate group. As soon as the phone worm was put down, the other one rang. Sengoku frowned, a little unhappy, because it was from the world government. "Hey, this is Naval Headquarters, I'm Marshal Sengoku." Sengoku said solemnly. "It's not the exclusive phone worm of 5 elders, so you don't need to be polite." "Hey, Marshal Sengoku, I heard that the pirates in Chambord have been wiped out recently. It seems that under the leadership of the world government, Marine has done a good job. Then, I want to go to the Chambord Islands to inspect work, Marshal Sengoku. You arrange it." The tone was extremely domineering, and he hung up the phone worm after speaking. "These guys, is Tenten very free?" Sengoku frowned and said, apparently not very cold towards the officials of the world government. "But anyway, Marine is a subsidiary of the world government. If officials from the world government come to inspect the work, if the 757 is not arranged, it will not be justified." "No way." I took out Mu Feng's phone bug and dialed out. Bolu. Advertisement. Before the phone worm dialed this gap, Sengoku was about to take a sip of tea. "Hey, who is it? I am in Mu Feng." It was Guy who answered the phone bug, and Sengoku interrupted directly. "It's Guy, where is Mu Feng? Give him the phone bug. I have something to find him." "Ah, it's the Marshal. The Lieutenant General went out 2 days ago and said that he won't be back when he returns to the Chambord Islands." Guy said. "Back to Champagne. Are you there now?" For some reason, Sengoku suddenly had a bad feeling. "Palmador Island." Guy replied. The teacup in Sengoku's hand fell directly to the ground. With a squeak, got up directly from the chair and roared loudly, "What are you talking about? Palmador Island. What's the matter? Why haven't you returned to the Chambord Islands?" Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Sengoku suddenly figured out why when Mu Feng hung up his phone worm 2 days ago, he felt something was wrong. Because when Mu Feng replied to himself, he said, "I see, Marshal Sengoku," instead of "Okay, Marshal Sengoku." This kid, don't you think about the consequences at all? Kaido, that lunatic, is something he can provoke. Damn, isn't it not his own? Why is this character exactly the same as that old bastard Garp? Although he was complaining, Sengoku couldn't remain indifferent. Take out the phone worm and immediately order Aokiji, who was stationed in Naval Headquarters, and Kizaru, who was on a mission in New World, to rush to Palmador Island. Although Sengoku knows, Mu Feng has the strength of Admiral. Advertisement. But who is Kaido? It is the existence of Naval Headquarters that one person dares to single-handedly challenge Naval Headquarters. You can easily explode an admiral, and your body is extremely perverted. And Mu Feng is not a Logia fruit-capable person. If he gets into a fight in the face of Kaido, it is difficult to get away. And this time Kaido went to Palmador Island, definitely with a murderous heart. In Sengoku's view, if rescue is not carried out, Mu Feng will be more ill-fortuned. When Aokiji and Kizaru heard the news, they were even more stunned. With beasts, Kaido, single, putting down the things in their hands, the two hurried to New World. Although Aokiji and Kizaru have been dispatched, Sengoku still cannot calm down. Because even if it is fast, Aokiji and Kizaru will take half a day to get there. And BACB, can Mu Feng do it for half a day under Kaido? Sengoku doesn't know, but he can only hope that Mu Feng can do it. Comma 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 comma. Mu Feng. Get out of me. Kaido, topless, roared. Like the roar of a wild beast, it resounded throughout the island. What are you calling? If you have a small voice, you can't hear it, if you have a loud voice. Mu Feng appeared several dozen meters away from Kaido. Kaido is like a beast with two horns. Unkempt hair and scale tattoo on his left arm, just standing there, there is a wild and violent feeling. What is the Emperor? Kaido is the king of the sea, the king of the wild. You are Mu Feng. Kaido stared at Mu Feng coldly and asked. Advertisement. Yes. Mu Feng nodded. Although his expression was plain, Mu Feng had already paid 12 points. Observation Haki has been opened, and the pupils of the eyes have already become Mangekyo Sharingan. Facing an Emperor of the sea, Mu Feng did not dare to relax in the slightest. You know, the Emperor was angry, and the sea was overturned. Then you give me to die. Without reconfirmation, without any signs, Kaido's fist blasted directly at Mu Feng, and Mu Feng was a little unprepared. The mammoth blade in his hand slashed out, and the terrifying sword aura attacked Kaido. However, Kaido didn't dodge or dodge, and abruptly carried Mu Feng's sword energy with his body. This terrifying sword energy that even the mountain peak could easily be cut off, hit Kaido's body, and it didn't even leave a scratch. You must know that although this is not Mu Feng's full slash, but even the strong armament Haki who has reached the limit dare not hold Mu Feng's sword energy. The name of the sea, land and air, the world's strongest creature, is no joke. The strength of this physical body definitely broke the physical boundary of more than 2 times. Perhaps, it has been broken for the 3rd time, and it is also possible. Because in Marine's record, Kaido is not a capable person. Otherwise, Marine won't be so embarrassed every time Kaido is captured, and he doesn't know what to do with Kaido. He has destroyed 9 prison boats all his life. Boy, are you tickling lousy. Kaido showed a brutal look, and immediately attacked Mu Feng with his fists. Mu Feng swung the mammoth blade in his hand, and the flow of 8,000 swords was brought to the extreme, and the endless sword energy poured into Kaido, as if he had put Kaido into the hell of the Sword Mountain. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. Advertisement. Chapter 51. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Different from the attack just now, Mu Feng has done his best with the sword energy he slashed out this time. 8,000 swords flow can be described as vivid and vivid. Every sword aura carries an aura of destruction. Such a terrifying sword energy directly tore open Kaido's defense. The flesh and blood turned over, revealing the white bones. Kaido's whole person is bathed in blood, like Hell Blood Demon God. This kind of injury was placed on other people, and it is estimated that I did not know how many times he died. But at the moment Kaido didn't have the slightest pain on his face. Instead, he looked excited. Ahahahaha. Marine boy, your swordsmanship is more fierce than red hair, no wonder you can kill Jack, but take lousy. But there is no way. Just breathing time, it is clear that the bone scars have been restored. Mu Feng looked a little sluggish. This is the 100 beasts, Kaido, the 4 emperors in the sea. Immortal Kaido. Unlike Whitebeard, he has never failed in his life. Kaido has suffered dozens of defeats, but when it is clear why he was defeated, you will find that it is not defeat at all, but glory. Go straight to the naval headquarters alone, or run across the base camp of the other 3-4 emperors, fight for a few days, and lose safely. If it is a heads up, Kaido has never lost to anyone, including Whitebeard. I'm going to break your head. Marine boy, Kaido said grimly. There is no skill to speak of, just relying on the explosive muscle strength. Kaido's speed has surpassed Mu Feng, unavoidable, only a frontal bomb. Advertisement. There is no way to give Kaido a fatal blow, and it is useless for Kaido to consume it. After all, what Mu Feng inherited was only the swordsmanship of the 8,000 flowers, not the strength. Otherwise, Kaido's physical body will be as strong as it will be. Putting away the mammoth blade, Mu Feng immediately turned on Susanoo. There is no plan to compete with Kaido, because it's all about looking for abuse. Physical skills like finger pistol and tempest kick are not even scratching Kaido. Susanoo's fist banged on Kaido's chest, making a sound like hitting a copper pillar. The earth cracked and the sea water churned. However, Mu Feng's full blow hit Kaido. It just made him back a few steps, but looked at Mu Feng even more bloodthirsty. The devil fruit of the Eudemons. No wonder it's so arrogant. But today, you will still die in Lao Su's hands. With a backhand punch, Susanoo blasted. Under Kaido's terrifying power, Susanoo's arm was directly broken apart. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. However, Susanoo only appeared with his pupil power. Under the perfusion of Mu Feng's pupil power, he quickly recovered and continued to fight Kaido. The fighting power of the two horror behemoths spread to the entire Palmador Island. 4 emperors are big pirates who dominate the New World like an emperor. In the waters of New World, some people may not know who Martial Marine is. But no one does not know the 4 emperors, especially Kaido, which is famous for its madness. Kaido is the beast. Kaido. Oh my god, how could such a big pirate appear here? Advertisement. Who is that guy fighting Kaido? Don't worry about the hapless guy. Let's run for our lives. That's Lieutenant Admiral. Lieutenant Admiral is at war with Beast Kaido. Guy obviously recognized Mu Feng who started Susanoo. Kaido, the reward order of the 4 emperors is something that every marine will engrave on his mind. Basically every marine has the dream of becoming a marine admiral or arresting 4 emperors. Subconsciously, Guy wanted to step forward to help. But the foot only lifted a half step, then stopped. Because Guy understands that even if he eats tiger fruit, he still can't stand a punch in Kaido's hands. In the past, gang fights only distracted Lieutenant General Mu Feng. Set sail and gradually approach the battlefield from the surface of the sea, ready to take over the Lieutenant General at any time. Guy yelled and commanded. This is the only thing he can do now. Susanoo and Kaido fought together, and the battle was a landslide. Find flowers. Happy. Marine boy. In addition to fighting Whitebeard, fighting with you is the most enjoyable for me. Boy, give you a chance. Join the Beasts pirate group. I appoint you as the new Drought. If you agree, I will spare your life. How is it? Kaido suddenly asked, making Mu Feng a little surprised. Become your subordinate. What kind of thing are you? Mu Feng said mercilessly. Kaido was surprised at first, and then went into endless rage. Advertisement. Asshole, die for me. As the king of the sea, even Whitebeard and Marine Marshal Sengoku did not dare to despise himself so much. 0. But now he was actually despised by a Marine Lieutenant General. This way Kaido cannot accept it. With scarlet eyes, Kaido has already entered a runaway form, and Kaido, who has fallen into a runaway, is the most terrifying monster in the world. None of the 4 emperors who dominate the sea is a simple character, and Kaido, who is immortal, is an existence that makes everyone fearful. People who have not really played against Kaido will never know his horror. Kaido was furious, and his strength suddenly increased several times. In the confrontation with Susanoo just now, Kaido didn't try his best. The earth can no longer hold the power of Kaido, and the bottomless trenches spread across the island. It is estimated that after this battle is over, Palmador Island will sink soon. Facing Kaido's violent attack, Susanoo couldn't bear it either. It seems that Susanoo in the second stage is still a little reluctant to compete with the 4 emperors. Without continuing to hold on, Mu Feng relieved Susanoo. What? Boy. Recognize your fate. But it's too late. Now I just want to kill you. Kaido looked at Mu Feng with a violent tone. Acknowledge your fate. No. I was just thinking, since you have such a strong resilience. Then what kind of feeling would it feel if you couldn't burn to death no matter how you burned? It must be very cool. After all, you are I'm shaking M. Mu Feng suddenly laughed. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. Advertisement. Chapter 52. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Kaido stared at Mu Feng with tyrannical eyes. In his opinion, Mu Feng, who had lost the blessing of the form just now, was already at the end of the battle. Swordsmanship is useless to oneself, and fruit abilities are useless to oneself. It's just a bluff at the moment. FK me. Kaido roared. The figure was more like an explosion, and he hit directly in front of Mu Feng, and his right fist attacked outrageously. This series of actions was completed only on the occasion of Setsuna. It was less than 1/100th of a second, and Mu Feng had no time to react. Kaido's eyes were full of fierce light, and all the power in his body was blasted out with his right fist. Even the sea floor stone that is harder than diamonds. With his full punch, he will be shattered into dregs. Red hair can't stop it, Whitebeard can't stop. August 13th, Garp can't stop. No one in the world dares to use his body to resist his fists. Not to mention the kid in front of him, he can definitely knock him down without leaving any bone stubble. Kaido's fist fell from Mu Feng's head and hit the ground. Rumbling. The earth cracked completely, and terrifying gully appeared. Advertisement. In an instant, the entire island split into two halves. The world is falling apart. Kaido's punch even changed the direction of the veins hundreds of meters deep under the sea, causing an extinct volcano that had been silent for many years to reignite, and terrifying magma spurted out. The entire Palmador Island seemed to be the end. As for this, Kaido didn't care at all on his face. There are countless islands destroyed by him in New World. Every time he singles out other four emperors or marines, he basically destroys an island. This is the four emperors, so terrifying. Boy Marine, remember it in the next life. The sea didn't let you come to play the house. Kaido said disdainfully. Before looking, he turned around and was ready to leave. In Kaido's opinion, no one will survive with his punch. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Kaido, are you ready to escape? Suddenly, Mu Feng's voice sounded from behind Kaido, with a slight sarcasm. You're not dead yet. Kaido turned around and stared at Mu Feng closely. Devil Fruit's ability. The Eudemons has the ability similar to Logia's elementalization. It's a good devil fruit, but I think you still have it. Can you resist my next attack? Armament Haki covered the entire arm, and Kaido attacked again. Although Kaido's greatest reliance is his immortal body, as four emperors, Conqueror's Haki Kaido is also proficient. Of course, although it may not be as good as Garp, his armament Haki definitely broke the boundaries. This time Kaido's eyes are fixed on Mu Feng. He wanted to see with his own eyes. The marine in front of him was smashed into flesh by himself. Advertisement. But Kaido saw a scene that made him stare. My fist actually passed through the body of the marine in front of him, and then the fist fell to the ground, causing a crash-like power. But Mu Feng didn't suffer the slightest harm. Boy, what exactly are you eating, devil fruit? Kaido asked. As we all know, demon fruit power is controlled by armament Haki. Whether it is Logia, Zone or Paramesha, armament Haki can play a restraining role. But his own armed color could not have any effect on the kid in front of him. This makes Kaido feel deeply puzzled. Guess it, Mu Feng said with a smile, his eyes full of abuse. I can't tell you that I am not a devil fruit capable person. This is Mangekyo Sharingan's pupil technique Kamui. It can make itself incorporeal, and at the moment of being attacked, the attacked part will be transferred to the Kamui space to avoid the attack. This is the pupil technique that Mu Feng opened when he was promoted to Mangekyo, the double pupil. After Mangekyo unlocked Kamui, the pirate world was so big. But there was no place Mu Feng dared not go. Can't beat me, I hide in the Kamui space, can you still get me out? Even if Kaido doesn't come to him today, Mu Feng is still going to find Kaido's troubles sometime later. Mu Feng is the one who must report the flaws. When Kaido issued the killing order, he was destined to become the first four emperors to be engaged by Mu Feng. At this time, Mu Feng possesses four Mangekyo pupil techniques. Susanoo, Kamui. This is the second. Advertisement. Next, Mu Feng is preparing to perform the third Mangekyo pupil technique, which can make Mu Feng use three Mangekyo pupil techniques one after another, and only the four emperors who stand at the top of this world. Damn guy. Kaido's eyes were fierce and brutal. However, there was nowhere to vent his anger. Because facing Mu Feng in front of him, he found that he couldn't start. This kind of feeling Kaido had never experienced. At this time, he finally knew that Marine had caught him repeatedly, but he couldn't feel it anymore. Feel the indestructible flame of despair. Amaterasu. Mu Feng said lightly. Kaido, who was watched directly by Mu Feng, suddenly felt dangerous. Kaido, as the strongest creature in the sea, land and air, is not so much a human being. Rather than being a beast, it seems more accurate. At the same time he also possesses beastly intuition. Subconsciously, Kaido wanted to step aside to avoid. But it was too late, or there was no way to avoid it. Because the flame of Amaterasu is conducted by the line of sight, the flame of Amaterasu is ignited where the line of sight is focused. It will never be extinguished before the target 4.6 is burned out. A black flame rose from Kaido. Kaido, who was in Amaterasu, didn't panic at first. Although I don't know why the flame is black, he is not afraid of even jumping into a sea of magma. Although the temperature of this black flame is even more terrifying than magma. Kaido patted the fire on his body, trying to put out the flames. But I was surprised to find that as I slapped more and more, the black flame spread more quickly. Just a few breaths, Kaido's body was covered with Amaterasu inflammation, and the more it burned, it seemed to grow stronger. The pain of the heart-cutting bones, along with the inflammation of Amaterasu, spreads across Kaido's body. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. Advertisement. Chapter 53. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. What kind of flame is this? Hurry up and put it out for Lao Su, or believe it or not, Lao Su killed you. Holding back the pain, Kaido looked at Mu Feng and threatened. Kill me. Do you have that ability? Mu Feng smiled contemptuously. At this time, Mu Feng also noticed that his warship was in the sea not far away. I didn't mean to continue fighting with Kaido, because facing Kaido, I really couldn't kill him. This guy's body is really abnormal. Moonwalk Meteor. Stepping on the air, Mu Feng rushed to his battleship. Boy, don't want to run away. Seeing Mu Feng about to leave, Kaido was furious. Ignoring the Amaterasu flame on my body, he flew forward and tried to stop Mu Feng. Mu Feng smiled, holding the mammoth blade, with a slash in his backhand. The pale sword aura obscured the brilliance between heaven and earth. It slammed into Kaido's body suddenly, although Mu Feng's sword aura could not kill Kaido. However, Kaido's castration was stopped, and a huge cut was made on Kaido's body. Amaterasu's flame 10 spread in, and Kaido fell into the sea. However, Mu Feng landed on the battleship safely, and with the help of the reaction force of his sword chi, the speed of the battleship increased by 3 points, and sailed away from Palmador Island. Lieutenant. Lieutenant General, you actually defeated Kaido. 4 emperors. Kaido. Guy can be said to look at Mu Feng with a dull face. He only saw the battle between Mu Feng and Kaido when Mu Feng released the flame of Amaterasu. In Guy's opinion, whether it is Mu Feng burning Kaido. Advertisement. It was the last blow that drove Kaido into the sea. Mu Feng had the upper hand. Moreover, in this battle that destroyed the entire island, Lieutenant Admiral didn't even break his clothes. On the other hand, Kaido fell into the sea with black inflammation. Which one is strong and which one is weak? A judgment is made. There is no victory, I can only say that it is a draw. Mu Feng smiled and said. After a battle with Kaido, Mu Feng also had an accurate assessment of his own strength. If just talking about combat power, it should be higher than Admiral, and slightly weaker among 4 emperors. But as far as life-saving ability is concerned, Mu Feng said second, then the first is empty. As soon as Kamui opens, I don't care if you are Shock Fruit or the Pluto battleship. No matter how fierce your attack is, I don't move. The draw. The draw is already very powerful. That's Kaido. Beasts. Kaido. Lieutenant General, aren't you excited? Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Guy seemed very excited, as if he was the one who drew with Kaido. It's no wonder Guy will be excited, the person in this world who can challenge Kaido alone hasn't appeared yet. And the one who can draw with Kaido alone, it seems that only the world's strongest Whitebeard Edward Newgate. That is, Lieutenant Sama has the same power as Whitebeard. Get ready to go back to Chambord. Mu Feng smiled. Yes, Lieutenant General Mu Feng. Geyer obeyed his orders. By the way, Lieutenant General, Marshal Sengoku asked you to call the worm immediately if conditions permit. Oh, got it. Mu Feng nodded, and at the same time took the phone worm from Guy. Advertisement. Called the phone worm without waiting for Mu Feng to speak. Sengoku's anxious voice rang from the phone bug. Mu Feng. I have ordered Aokiji and Kizaru to go to Palmador Island as fast as possible. But it will take half a day at the earliest for the 2 of them to arrive. Don't think of Kaido fighting. That guy is a madman, an immune to death madman, understand? It's too late, Marshal. Mu Feng said. What? Has Kaido spotted you? Sengoku's voice became even more anxious. No. I mean, my battle with Kaido is over. Just 3 minutes ago. Mu Feng said lightly. What? It's over. Sengoku's voice was full of surprise. How are you? Have you suffered any injuries? Marshal, you listen to my voice. Do you seem to be hurt? Mu Feng laughed. Sengoku at the other end of the phone worm suddenly became silent. After a long while, he said, Kaido. How is that guy Kaido? Sorry, the marshal failed to kill him. Mu Feng said embarrassedly. Quote. Sengoku continued to be silent. This time, after a long time, Sengoku reacted. Dryly opened his mouth and said, It's okay, I will continue to work harder next time. Okay. I still have business to deal with. You first return to the Chambord Islands, and after 3 months, return to the headquarters to celebrate. Sengoku, with a blank mind, completely forgot that he still had something to explain. Mu Feng's battleship traversed the windless zone and returned to the shampoo slowly. But Aokiji and Kizaru finally arrived on Palmador Island. Advertisement. By all means, Kaido couldn't extinguish the flames on his body. Even if it is 10,000 meters deep under the sea, there is no way. In the end, Kaido could only endure the pain, tearing off all the flesh in the burning place. It took several hours of self-abuse before Kaido got rid of Amaterasu. 910. At this moment, Kizaru arrived first, looking at Kaido with a gloomy expression on his face. Kizaru said that he was just a salaryman and didn't want to mess with you. But Sengoku's order cannot be ignored, otherwise the salary will not be mixed. Biting the bullet, Kizaru asked, Excuse me. May I ask, how is brother Mu Feng now? Kizaru didn't want to fight Kaido. Mainly because he can't beat Kaido. However, Kaido looked gloomy when he heard the words Mu Feng. In a moment of anger, Sen Leng stared at Kizaru, and yelled, Mu Feng. Mu Feng. I want Mu Feng to die. He said. He attacked Kizaru. Kizaru now. How depressed it is. Nima. This time went for nothing. Kaido is mad, and Kizaru hits his head. It wasn't until Aokiji came to support him that the situation eased a little. But even Aokiji and Kizaru were still crushed and beaten by Kaido. The fighting between the two sides stopped until the entire Palmador Island was completely sunk. Kizaru continued to carry out his tasks, but Aokiji didn't know where to take out a bicycle and hurried back to naval headquarters slowly. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. Advertisement. Chapter 54. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. The sinking of Palmador Island is not a trivial matter, and the fleeing residents on Palmador Island saw the battle between Mu Feng and Kaido. After being explored by interested people, the truth of the matter has also surfaced. Marine Lieutenant General Mu Feng appeared in the New World, and 4 Emperors Kaido, in order to avenge Jack's revenge, directly killed Palmador Island. When the news came out, everyone was silent for Mu Feng. No one thinks that Mu Feng can survive Kaido, even if Mu Feng had previously killed Jack, Drought, and defeated Shichibukai. But Kaido is 4 emperors, the Emperor of the Sea. Even the name can scare Doflamingo's presence in a cold sweat. But when the follow-up news came out, countless people were horrified. Mu Feng appeared unharmed in the Chambord Islands, while Kaido returned to the realm of beasts. When 2 people met, no one would think that they were drinking and chatting. There was definitely a very terrifying battle between the two. Otherwise, Palmador Island will not sink. Although no one knows the outcome of this battle, Sengoku did not choose to announce it in order not to provoke Kaido. Both Aokiji and Kizaru suffered a loss in Kaido's hands, and it was even impossible to take the initiative to mention this to the outside world, but Kaido failed to keep Mu Feng. This is already an incredible record. Being able to survive from Kaido, this marine boy, it's not easy. It is said that Kaido has been violent and impermanent these days. Obviously he didn't ask for anything. What a terrible kid. It seems that Marine who needs to pay attention in the future. One more. Advertisement. Marine. Is this another Garp about to appear? The leaders of the major forces in the New World, even the red-haired Shanks, Whitebeard, such figures have begun to attach importance to Mu Feng. If Mu Feng had only potential before, but now he has the qualifications to become their opponent. Comma 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 comma. Slowly, it took nearly 3 days for the warship to reach the harbor of Chambord. Originally, Mu Feng wanted to stroll around the Chambord Islands for a while, but Gun, the brigadier general who originally belonged to the Chambord Islands, was already waiting in the harbor. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Lieutenant General Mu Feng, you are back. Gun said respectfully. What's the matter? Mu Feng asked. Lieutenant General Mu Feng, the inspector of Khmer of the world government, came to the base, saying that he heard that all the pirates in Chambord were wiped out and came to inspect the work. Gun said. Before Mu Feng could speak, he suddenly felt a tyrannical breath next to him. Turning his head to see Guy, his eyes are red and his nose is worsening. For a moment, Mu Feng understood it. Well, then go back to the branch first. Mu Feng nodded and said. Advertisement. As soon as I walked into the marine branch of Chambord, I heard a roaring voice. I'm the inspector of the world government, you let me eat this kind of food. And Monkey D. Mu Feng. When will he be back? Actually made me wait for 2 days. I made you wait for 2 days. I'm so sorry. Mu Feng walked up to this guy. Pointy-mouthed monkey cheeks, fine skin and tender flesh, look like a dog leg. Mu Feng waved his hand and asked Gun to take the surrounding marine down. Although he didn't know what Mu Feng meant, Gun didn't think much about it. And the celestial boss in front of me, the inspector of the world government of my second child, didn't even notice the abnormality. Huh, you or Monkey D. Mu Feng actually made me wait here for 2 days. Do you know how much you have delayed Lord Celestial Dragons? If Lord Celestial Dragons blames it, will you take it? Khmer's tone is extremely arrogant. Open your mouth for a Celestial Dragons, and close your mouth for a Celestial Dragons. Are you the dog raised by Celestial Dragons? Mu Feng frowned, displeased. Khmer was stunned directly, because no one has ever dared to talk to him like this. Khmer, who reacted, fell into anger and pointed at Mu Feng. You, what did you say? You, a little marine lieutenant, dare to talk to me like this? I want to imprison you. Enter impel down. No, I want you to become a slave. Guards, come here and put this guy in jail. After shouting for a long time, no marine came in either. Backquote, this is the marine branch, and I am the head of the branch here. Mu Feng joked. Advertisement. You. Khmer trembled with anger, then looked at the guards arranged for him by the 2 CPs, secret spy agencies, behind him, and said angrily, you two, go and kill him. No, I want to catch him, sell him as a slave. The 2 CPs walked forward together, preparing to attack Mu Feng. But Mu Feng suddenly opened his mouth, looked at Khmer, and said sensibly, do you know why I never wear a pistol? Not because they are too weak, but because they are too wasteful of bullets. Oh, and I have always been very economical. Finger pistol, M500. Finger pistol, M500. 2 consecutive finger pistol shots directly exploded the heads of these 2 CPs. Mu Feng looked at Khmer with a smile. Because finger pistol obviously doesn't waste bullets, and it's more convenient to carry, isn't it? By the way, Inspector Khmer, don't you know my adjutant? You must have forgotten things if you want to come to Inspector Khmer. Then I will help you remember. 6 years ago, Naval Headquarters inspected work, what did you do? Speaking of this, Mu Feng staggered and let Guy face him. Guy, leave it to you. If you can't kill him, don't be my adjutant in the future. Mu Feng said, pointing to Khmer. If you don't want to leave him to Guy, otherwise he will open his mouth as a slave and shut his mouth in jail, and Mu Feng will not let him leave the Chambord Islands alive. Killing such a person is simply doing it for the pirate world contribution. Walked to the side, took out the phone worm, and dialed the call with Marshal Sengoku. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. Advertisement. Chapter 55. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Mu Feng boy, what's the matter? Bastard. Don't mess up my files, there are no donuts in there. Sengoku was talking to himself in the first half. In the second half of the sentence, don't even think about it, knowing that it was Garp who ran to his office to eat. By the way, Mu Feng. About Guy. Sengoku suddenly remembered something and said. I know everything about Guy. Mu Feng interrupted. Sengoku replied and continued. There is one more thing. Last time Kaido's matter was too urgent, so I forgot to make arrangements with you. The inspector of the world government should be going to the Chambord Islands in the past few days. The inspection work is the inspector who hates Guy. You can arrange a task for Guy and don't let Guy see him. As for the inspector, let Brigadier Gun come to receive him. You don't have to pay attention to him. Sengoku is scared. What conflict between Mu Feng and Kimir? That. Marshal Sengoku, I am looking for you to report this matter. Mu Feng said. What's wrong? Sengoku suddenly had a bad feeling. Mu Feng said in a sorrowful voice. Inspector Kimir has arrived in the Chambord Islands, but it was in 567 earlier today. Inspector Kimir suddenly came in for some reason, and wanted to go fishing. He arranged a small battleship. But just now I received the news that the battleship carrying Inspector Kimir suddenly encountered the Overlord class Sea King class. I searched the relevant waters in time, but did not find Inspector Kimir. Want to fish? Eaten by the Sea King. Sengoku's face was stunned. Then he roared. Boy, can you make up a lie? Can you use your mind? You haven't arrived at Chambord earlier today, right? Sea fishing. He is a waste of the world government. How could the inspector have this? A hobby. You might as well say that he was out to sea and was attacked by a pirate. Then I might believe it. Advertisement. Ah, this way. Then I remembered wrongly. Inspector Kimir was attacked by a pirate. Don't worry, Marshal Sengoku. I have sent Lieutenant Colonel Guy to clean up the surrounding waters. I will definitely avenge Inspector Kimir. Mu Feng said. Righteously. Quote. Sengoku's heart at the moment, like tens of thousands of grass and mud horses rushing past. Help. Sengoku Yuan, BAFD, as handsome, it's me, help. Mu Feng just walked out of the house and talked with Sengoku on the phone worm. The unhuman-shaped Kimir who was tortured by Guy in the house obviously heard the call between Mu Feng and Sengoku. What's the sound? Boy, don't mess around. Sengoku said hurriedly. And Mu Feng just took the phone worm away and pretended that he couldn't hear him clearly. Hey. Hey, what did you say, Marshal? My phone worm has a bad signal. Just hang up. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. After hanging up the phone worm, Mu Feng glanced at the house. It was terrible to see. Hurry up and get rid of him, and remember to clean the floor. Holy Malin Bando, Marshal Marine's office. Mu Feng. Mu Feng has hung up the phone worm, and Sengoku ranting again is futile. Advertisement. Crunchy. Garp didn't know where he took out the senbei after eating the donuts, and said as he ate. Well, Mu Feng, that kid, has you gotten into trouble again? It's just to cause trouble. Thinking of Mu Feng, Sengoku stopped fighting. This time he directly killed Kimir, the inspector of the world government. Although he didn't have the strength and power, the inspector was nominally compatible. Admiral is of the same level. Oh, just find any reason. Anyway, it's the era of big pirates. There are so many pirates in the sea. Garp said indifferently. Furthermore, you arranged for Guy to serve as Mu Feng's adjutant. So this is not because of you. Quote. Sengoku said that he didn't want to talk to the grandfather and grandson. After a while, Sengoku sighed. He opened his mouth and said, this matter, I will report to the world government because Kimir's battleship was attacked by pirates. In addition, I have already submitted the document to 5 elders for approval. So during this time, the reputation of this kid Feng is absolutely not allowed to be damaged in any way. Already submitted. Garp looked surprised. Sengoku nodded and said, nowadays, the sea situation is more and more flooded with pirates, especially New World. The 3 admirals suppressed the sea, obviously already stretched. So Marine set up the 4th Marine Admiral. It is imperative. Holy land, Mary Geois. This is the residence of celestial dragons, a world nobleman. Advertisement. It is also the seat of the world government. In an extremely luxurious palace, 5 old men are sitting at a discussion table. 5 elders. The top leader of the world government. A paper document circulated by 5 people in turn. After the 5 people had finished reading it, the headed 5 elders with a flat hat said, About the Marine Marshal Buddha Sengoku, the establishment of the 4th Marine Admiral, and Monkey D. Mufeng will be responsible. The proposal. What do you think? Can it be passed and implemented? No. Marine Admiral has been 3 people for 800 years. Is it just because the number of pirates has increased recently? If there are more pirates in a few years, will there be a 5th and 6th place? A while ago, without the permission of the world government, Marine actually recruited 7 warlords of the sea privately. Don't they know that they are just a subordinate organization of the world government? Bai Chang's 5 elders said sharply. I think so too. There is no need for Marine to add a 4th admiral. Secondary. N. The flat hat 5 elders nodded and said, then, the request for Marine to add a 4th Marine Admiral system is rejected. However, Sengoku is still obedient, and completely rejected it is not good. So he set up a Marine General Council. The idle position is the same rank as Admiral. As for the question of candidates, let Sengoku of Buddha decide for himself. In the conversation of 5 elders, they did not deliberately pay attention to the name Monkey D. Mufeng. Although these days, Mufeng's name is very famous. But as long as Gal D. Roger or Monkey D. Dorag does not appear, they will not care too much about others. Because no matter how famous the name is after decades, it will become a handful of Lois. And they will still be the 5 elders, who will continue to rule the entire world. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. Advertisement. Chapter 56. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. N. Okay. I know, Lord 5 Elders. Sengoku hung up the phone worm with a gloomy expression. He and Garp stood beside him. Does 5 Elders agree? Sengoku. Crane asked. Seeing Sengoku's face, Suru probably guessed the result. Sengoku shook his head and said, 5 Elders said that the Marine organization was established 800 years ago, so it did not agree to add a 4th Marine Admiral. However, it also allowed the establishment of a Marine General Council position with the same rank. In Admiral. I just said that the 5 rigid old guys would definitely not agree. Garp said. A trace of loss was evident in his eyes. Although he has no intention of becoming Admiral, he hopes that Mufeng can become Admiral and become the strongest seaman. Then, when Mufeng comes back, I'll appoint him as Marine's General Counsel. Sengoku decided. 3 months' time, fleeting. Advertisement. Kill the drought, Jack, crush 7 warlords of the sea, and contend with Kaido. Mufeng's record has been spread all over the world. The pirates who pay a little attention to the world situation know that Mufeng has the top admiral combat power. Therefore, although Mufeng was extremely aggressive in suppressing the pirates in the Chambordyan Islands, no pirate dared to come to Chambord to cause trouble. The one sent to take over the Chambord Islands is a veteran Lieutenant General of Naval Headquarters. Lieutenant General Mags. He is over 50 years old, and it is estimated that he is here to provide for the elderly. After handing over with Lieutenant General Mags, Mufeng boarded the battleship and returned to the headquarters. When Wabel was beheaded, 27 armament hockey exclusive experience scrolls were dropped. All of them were dropped on armament hockey, which only increased the proficiency from 2.5% to 24.7%. After all, Mufeng's armament hockey has arrived the level of LV9. If you want to upgrade to the full level, it seems that the journey is still a long way to go. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. As for the 33 advanced experience scrolls, Mufeng hasn't figured out how to use them well. Main mission. Become Marine Admiral. Mission introduction. A soldier who does not want to be a marshal is not a good soldier. However, even Marine Admiral is not you, so how can you talk about becoming a marshal? So, work hard, host. Become an admirable Marine Admiral. Task reward. Draw a handful of Zanpakuto immediately. Mission failed. The system has been shut down for 10 years. With my current combat power, if I continue to serve as a Lieutenant General in the headquarters, it should not be justified. I don't know how Sengoku will arrange me. The 4th place Admiral. I have figured it out by myself. Mufeng murmured. The return of the Mufeng battleship once again caused congestion in the naval headquarters harbor. All kinds of excited voices and whispering voices are mixed together, and the scene is a bit asshole. Even if there is a general commanding and guiding, it can't suppress this craze of chasing stars. Advertisement. Looking at the scene in front of me with some headaches, he cast moonwalk under his feet. He left the harbor directly and rushed to the marshal's office. I'm back. Mu Feng boy. Seeing Mu Feng, Sengoku smiled. Mu Feng is Garp's grandson, and he and Garp are even closer than his brothers. In Sengoku's view, Mu Feng is just like his nephew. Therefore, in front of Mu Feng, Sengoku will unconsciously lose a little bit of the marshal's majesty, and a little bit more as an easygoing elder. Then he pretended to be angry and said, "The Kaido thing, let's not take it as an example." After a pause, Sengoku continued, "I just didn't expect your kid to be so strong. Kaido's strength is placed in the four emperors, second only to Whitebeard. If you can draw with him, I'm afraid your current strength is no less than mine." That's it. Mu Feng smiled and said, "It's just a trick. There is no deception in battle. Victory is victory, and defeat is defeat." Sengoku smiled and shook his head and said, "By the way, with your current strength, it is not appropriate to continue serving as a lieutenant general. So I am going to appoint you as a lieutenant general. The General Council of Naval Headquarters, the rank is equal to admiral. But admiral does not have the power to mobilize the army and activate the order of the killing, ready to take office tomorrow." General Council. Mu Feng frowned slightly. Before returning to naval headquarters, he had imagined that Sengoku would choose to promote him to admiral, Marine's fourth-placed headquarters, or avoid talking about it. But I never thought that Sengoku actually prepared him a Marine General Council who had never heard of it. Asking for flowers. Instead of answering Sengoku directly, Mu Feng asked the system, "Becoming Marine's general advisor is equivalent to admiral. Does it count as completing the task?" Advertisement. It's not counted, but it's also not counted as a mission failure. So the mission reward and mission penalty will be cancelled at the same time. This main mission disappears and the system will start the next phase of the main mission. The voice of the system sounded in Mu Feng's mind. Mission rewards. Cancelled. What a joke. Mu Feng will never allow this to happen. And the reward for being promoted to admiral, but a random sword is drawn. Ryujin Jaka, Kyoka Suigetsu. This kind of abnormal Zanpakuto Mu Feng never thought about it. But Shinso, Fengsei, Heineka, these ordinary Zanpakuto, if they can reach the level of Bankai, the pirates will also exist against the sky. ... Lifting his head, Mu Feng looked at Sengoku flatly and said, "Sorry, Marshal Sengoku. I refuse to serve as Marine's General Counsel." Huh. Sengoku showed a look of error on his face and said, "Why?" Mu Feng smiled and said, "My dream is to become Marine Admiral and then Marine Marshal." What is Marine General Advisor? I have never heard of it. If first can't become Marine Admiral, then I would rather continue to be a Lieutenant General. Boy, don't you think about it. Sengoku said distress-edly. With Mu Feng's strength, there is no problem in serving as Admiral. However, the seats of the third Admiral were full, and 5 elders did not allow Marine to add the 4th seat of Admiral. Sengoku had nothing to do, and the General Council was also helpless. I remember. Didn't Marine have a rule to allow Admiral to be promoted? Mu Feng suddenly spoke, while Sengoku's eyes widened. Just listen to Mu Feng continue. Naval Headquarters Lieutenant General Monkey D. Mu Feng, apply for Admiral promotion. Challenge goal. Admiral of Headquarters, Red Dog, Sakazuki, please Marshal Sengoku for approval. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. Advertisement. Chapter 57. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Marine Admiral is not only the highest combat power of naval headquarters, but also the highest combat power of world government. The ability to launch the demon slaying order at any time, and even give others the opportunity to launch the demon slaying order, has the power to dispatch 30% of the troops of the headquarters. As we all know, if you want to be promoted to admiral, you must first have absolute strength. Then, when there was a vacancy in the headquarters of Admiral, Marshal Marine proposed and was appointed by the world government and 5 elders. In addition, there is a way to promote admiral. That is Admiral Promotion Battle. The world of One Piece has been a world respected by the strong since ancient times. As the highest combat power of naval headquarters, Marine Admiral will naturally be the strongest in Marine. In order to ensure this, when the world government became a 427 to establish Marine, it established the promotion mechanism of Admiral promotion. The conditions for applying for Admiral's promotion are as follows. First, you must be a Lieutenant General in your department, and secondly, you must have a sufficiently prominent record. Coincidentally, Mu Feng has both. However, even in the 800-year history of Marine, few have succeeded in Admiral promotion through the Admiral promotion campaign. The last Admiral promotion battle dates back more than 100 years ago, and the Admiral promotion battle ended in failure. Mu Feng, are you sure? Sengoku said in a low voice. You are still young. Even after 10 years, you are only 27 years old. By then, becoming a Marine Admiral will still be the youngest Marine Admiral in Marine history. You don't have to worry about it too quickly. Sengoku warned. Admiral promotion. For Marine, it is definitely something that affects the whole body. Sengoku doesn't want to see this happen. Marshal Sengoku will first be a Marine Admiral in 10 years. Advertisement. Looking at Sengoku, Mu Feng asked lightly. Sengoku is silent. The current Marine 3 Admiral are all Logia-capable people. There is absolutely no problem in maintaining the peak combat power for another 20 years. Even if I exhorted Mu Feng this time, but next time. And with the growth rate of Mu Feng's strength, within 10 years, he will surely become a monster of the level of Whitebeard. At that time, is it still just a Lieutenant General? Okay. I'll notify Akina. Sengoku sighed. Then I'll go back and prepare first. After all, Sakazuki Admiral is still quite strong. If you don't win beautifully, it will be a bit embarrassing. Mu Feng said with a smile. It seems as if the victory has been locked in words. Lose. Mu Feng never thought about it. Looking at Mu Feng who was leaving, Sengoku sighed and took out a phone bug. After hesitating, he finally dialed. Comma 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 comma. New World. Kaido rushes to the Big Mom pirate group alone. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. The mission of Akagu is to monitor and prevent the situation from spreading further. At this moment, the Red Dog's phone worm rang and picked up the phone worm. What's the matter? Marshal Sengoku. Akagi asked in a deep voice. Sengoku seems to have organized the language. Said. Aka-inu, Kaido and Big Mom if there is no big problem. Come back soon. Lieutenant General Monkey D. Mu Feng applied for the Admiral promotion, and the challenge is. You. Hearing Sengoku's words, Akakinu's face suddenly became gloomy and terrible. The whole person is like a volcano that is suppressed to the extreme and may erupt at any time. Advertisement. I know, I will set off immediately and return to Naval Headquarters. Marshal Sengoku, if there is nothing else, let's do this first. Akinu said coldly. When the voice fell, he could no longer suppress his anger. The fist turned into magma, and with a fierce grip, the phone bug turned into fly ash. The poor phone bug became a victim of the Red Dog's anger. The murderous aura in the Red Dog's body seemed to condense into substance. The entire upper body is already magma. The Marine on the battleship did not even dare to approach the Red Dog for several tens of meters. Okay. Just defeated Shichibukai and survived Kaido. Do you think you have the strength to compete with me? The Red Dog said coldly to himself. Monkey D. Mu Feng, you will regret it. Quote. Return to voyage, back to the headquarters. Akagu ordered. Comma 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 comma. And Kizaru, who performed a mission in the Red-Haired Sea. Admiral promotion battle. I didn't expect to have a chance to meet. Fortunately, it's not an old man. Kizaru said with some gratefulness. In the hands of Mu Feng, Kaido has suffered. If you really play against Mu Feng, Kizaru is not certain of winning. Comma 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 comma. Naval Headquarters, Iokiji's office. Advertisement. Admiral's promotion battle. It's terrible. Iokiji muttered. For Mu Feng to challenge aka Inu, Iokiji is totally indifferent. In other words, Iokiji is more inclined to Mu Feng to win. Whether it is the fruit's ability or the understanding of justice, Aokiji and Akainu are diametrically opposed, and neither of them looks down upon each other. Comma 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 comma. Admiral's promotion campaign is open to all Marines. Just half a day. It has spread to the entire Marine high level. Garp, who had just arrived at the windmill village, gave him a casual beating upon hearing the news, and then boarded the battleship again and returned to naval headquarters. 5.8 Garp doesn't think Mufeng will lose. Therefore, Garp wants to witness the moment when Mufeng becomes admiral. Doberman, Huo Shaoshan. These lieutenants also returned to their headquarters, and they all wanted to witness this once in a century promotion battle. 3 days later, Akagi returned to naval headquarters from New World. Except for a meeting with Marshal Sengoku, he shut himself in the house and saw no one. At the same time, Marshal Sengoku announced that 7 days later, the promotion will be held on an island called Texas next to Marin Vander. 7 days later, battleships sailed to Texas Island. However, Marshal Sengoku has issued an order. In order to avoid accidental injury, no one except aka Inu and Mufeng is allowed to land on the island, and they can only watch the battle from a distance. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. Advertisement. Chapter 58. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. In front of Texas Island, there were rows of warships, headed by Marshal Sengoku's warships, on which stood Sengoku, Garp, Crane, Aokiji, Kizaru, etc., even Zephyr, who had already retired from Marine's senior management. It's rare to come over to watch the game. Old stuff. I didn't expect you to come too. Garp looked at Zephyr in surprise. Zephyr said blankly, I am very interested in the promotion of Mufeng's little friend, and I also want to know how strong this generation of Marine Admiral is. Well, Mufeng is here. The battle is about to begin. Sengoku said. Mufeng's warship approached from afar and docked several nautical miles away from Texas Island. Standing at the bow of the ship, Mufeng suddenly stepped on the moonwalk, and several afterimages appeared in the air. The next moment he appeared on Texas Island. It is more than 100 meters away from the Red Dog waiting on the island early. The Marines in the distance, 10 looking at the 2 people on the island from a distance, were all talking. Admiral's promotion campaign. I just saw it in Marine's memos, and I never thought of a day when I witnessed it with my own eyes. Although Lieutenant General Mufeng is very good, Admiral is Admiral after all. Lieutenant General Mufeng is so strong, he should be able to win. It's hard to say. Don't forget, Sakazuki Admiral is the strongest Logia Devil Fruit capable person. And it is magma that is more terrifying than flames. Advertisement. But Lieutenant General Mufeng is the world's #1 swordsman, there is absolutely no problem. These are the content of ordinary Marine soldiers discussing. Basically they are discussing the victory or defeat of this battle, and nothing else is involved. Regardless of the outcome, the relationship between Lieutenant General Mufeng and Sakazuki Admiral. I am afraid there will be no room for relaxation. Huo Shaoshan sighed. On Texas Island, the Red Dog looked at Mufeng coldly. Marine Admiral has a total of 3 people. Whoever chooses Mufeng instead chooses Sakazuki. Invisible, it will give people a feeling that he, Sakazuki, is the weakest of the Marine 3 Admiral. After all, ordinary people's views are all about picking up persimmons. The 2 looked at each other. No one meant to take the lead. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. The atmosphere is getting more and more depressed. The rain is about to come. The body on the right side of the Red Dog has completely turned into magma, and his face is gloomy as water, giving people a terrible feeling of oppression, like a flame that may erupt at any time. When it erupts, after all, it is a landslide, cracking, and decayed. Show the horror of magma. Monkey D. Mufeng. Blood like you may have the root of evil buried in it. Even if there is a slight possibility, I will completely eradicate it. Sakazuki said solemnly, holding tightly. The fist and arm suddenly blasted towards Mufeng. Spitfire. As the Red Dog's arm blasted out, his fist turned into a giant magma fist. The terrifying heat wave swept in all directions. Advertisement. Looking at the magma fist that hit, Mufeng didn't mean to dodge at all. Squinting his eyes slightly, lifting his foot as to blast out 2 superimposed vacuum slashes. Tempest Kick Death Cross. With Mufeng's special force skills, the Death Cross turned crazy. Collided with the Great Spitfire. Like a stirring motive, it smashed the big fire into scattered magma. The dripping lava fell on the ground, with a sizzling sound. It's just this kind of sound that can make people who hear it shudder. Huh, the bug's tricks. You can block one, if there are countless ones. Magma meteor volcano. When the voice fell, the red dog fists continued to blast, extremely crazy. 2, 4, 6, numerous magma fists hit Mufeng. The sky is overwhelming, like a meteor shower, as if to melt Mufeng and the entire island into a sea of magma. Really, this island is going to suffer. Mufeng murmured. Susanoo. The blue-purple terrifying giant suddenly appeared. Advertisement. Holding Mufeng in the middle, the giant magma fist fell on Susanoo's body. Although it was able to melt and corrode Susanoo, under the perfusion of Mufeng's pupil power, it instantly recovered. Although the defense against physical attacks can be called abnormal. But in the face of energy attacks, Susanoo's is slightly insufficient. Especially for Susanoo, who hasn't reached the full form. In the original plot, Terumi Mei's monster melting technique melted Susanoo. So your defense is not invincible. The red dog had clearly noticed this too, and he couldn't help but brighten his eyes. Did you find it? I don't deny this. Mufeng said with a shrug. Comma 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 comma. Mufeng's fruit ability can't resist the corrosion of 157 magma. And, the Sakazuki guy completely changed the battlefield into his home court. Sengoku in the distance is obviously looking at the situation of the two fighting on the battlefield. It's clear, can't help but worry a little. Although as Martial Marine, he didn't want this battle to happen. But in terms of personal feelings, Sengoku hopes to win Mufeng, not Sakazuki. The capable people of Logia Devil Fruit, especially the three Admiral, can only exert the most terrifying power under the environment without scruples. And Garp, who was standing on the side, didn't have the slightest worry on his face. He buckled his booger, and said carelessly, "Ah, Mufeng, this kid, never does anything unsure. Besides, if it's just these means, it's impossible for Kaido to lose out." Garp, it's not that you don't worry about Mufeng. The first time he returned to naval headquarters, Garp found Mufeng. Without any kind of ethics, Garp is like a peasant. All the advantages and disadvantages of Sakazuki lava fruit were revealed to Mufeng. Then, Garp asked Mufeng how sure he was about Admiral's promotion and victory over Akadog. Mufeng just replied indifferently, "I can slap him out of shit." Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. Advertisement. Chapter 59. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Then die for me. Sakazuki's voice fell. Numerous terrifying magma pillars suddenly emerged from the ground, hundreds of meters high, gradually approaching Susanoo. It's a bit troublesome now. Mufeng said with a little distress. Susanoo was then relieved. Susanoo's goal was too big. And it's useless to use Susanoo to deal with the elemental red dog. Mufeng's armament haki is only LV9, far from covering Susanoo. Otherwise, use armament haki to bless Susanoo, let alone a red dog. Even if three Admiral shots together, Mufeng can also beat them and call them dad. Holding the mammoth blade, Mufeng stepped on the moonwalk and dodged the magma pillar. From time to time, he slashed the sword energy and cut the magma. Are there only these methods? Boy, you didn't kill Jack the Drought, and beat 7 warlords of the sea at the naval headquarters, and escaped from Kaido's subordinates. If it was just like this, it would be too lethal. I'm disappointed. Akagi sneered. Canine Tooth Red Lotus. Suddenly, the red dog blasted out with both arms. The two arms first turned into red-black magma, and then into the shape of a dog's head. His mouth split open, revealing scarlet sharp teeth, like two mad dogs, biting at Mufeng. Even if it is cut off by Mufeng, it will immediately regroup. Lieutenant General Mufeng is in a hard fight. Staring at the battlefield in the distance, Huo Shaoshan said. Doberman on the side heard it and nodded. Said. The strongest Lieutenant General Mufeng is his swordsmanship in the form of devil fruit. As you can see just now, this devil fruit ability can't resist the corrosion of magma, and although sword energy can cause damage to Logia. Advertisement. But against Logia's demon fruit power, armament haki is the most effective. If there is nothing else in Mu Feng, the defeat will be sooner or later. Quote. Not only them, but Sengoku and others have the same idea. Don't be so anxious. I was just thinking, if I beat you in an instant, would it be too cruel to you? Mu Feng said with a smile. At such a situation, you are still so arrogant. A sharp look appeared in the red dog's eyes. In an instant, stepped on the ground dozens of times. Shave. The next moment, it was already a surprise attack in front of Mu Feng. The left hand turned into red lava. Ming dog. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. The strongest attack of the red dog, used in close combat. In the battle for the top, the red dog that used this trick directly penetrated Whitebeard's chest. It was invincible. Mu Feng is not Logia's capable person, and even Logia's capable person may not necessarily be able to escape the attack of the red dog. And the red dog's attack was taking Mu Feng's heart again, which obviously meant to kill Mu Feng. Damn. AKA dog. Stop it. Sengoku shouted. Garp on the side stared at the battlefield, with one hand gripping the railing of the battleship. The solid steel railing was sparsely gripped by Garp. If you didn't believe in Mu Feng, he would have rushed forward at this time. Seeing the attacking red dog, Mu Feng's eyes narrowed. The windmill-shaped Mangekyo turned sharply. Monthly reading. Mu Feng slowly spit out 2 words. Advertisement. The red dog was startled, and his consciousness went black. Here. Where is it? The red dog only felt a trance, and his eyes suddenly went black. When he slowed down, he was already in a blood-red world. The blood-colored earth, the blood-colored sky, the blood-colored sun. And the self who was bound to the cross. Welcome to my world, the world of monthly reading. As the voice fell, Mu Feng's body gradually emerged from the bloody earth. Although his body was only tied to the cross by hemp rope. However, no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't get rid of the restraints. What made Akinu panic was that he couldn't use the ability of lava fruit. What did you do to me? There was a trace of fear in Sakazuki's tone. After losing his power, the fear of nature was finally revealed. Are you scared? This doesn't look like your style. Sakazuki Admiral. Mu Feng's tone was full of mockery. But at the moment, Sakazuki has no mood to care about it anymore. Where is this place? What did you do to me? Sakazuki shouted hoarsely, glaring at Mu Feng. Mu Feng showed a faint smile on his face and said, Haven't I already told you? This is my world, the world of monthly reading. As for what I have done to you, maybe you should not care about this. But I will be to you do something. Advertisement. Mu Feng. What do you mean? The red dog had a bad feeling. Mu Feng didn't speak, just smiled faintly. Slowly raised his right hand, aimed at the red dog, and flicked his finger. A cold light flashing kuwu appeared out of thin air, and shot towards Doflamingo. What? The red dog screamed. His eyes were filled with despair and unwillingness, and the expression of deathly silence gradually spread in his pupils, because he felt that kunai had pierced his heart. Life is fading. It's impossible for him to survive such an injury. At the same time, he was puzzled, wondering why Mu Feng dared to kill himself. Nuo Zhao, gradually, the red dog lost consciousness. I don't know how long has passed. Akaji woke up, found that he was still in the scarlet space. Didn't I die? Akaji's voice was hoarse. How many times do I need to say you to understand? This is my space. Everything in this world is under my control. Including space, time, and your dog's life. I won't let you die. You can't die naturally. Moreover, 1 second from the outside is equivalent to 72 hours here, so we still have a lot of time. Well, don't waste time. You still have 71 hours and 59 minutes of torture. Oh, yes, I forgot to tell you that, in this world, the flow rate every second is hundreds of times slower than the outside world. Quote. With that, Mu Feng took a dagger and slowly pierced the red dog's throat. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. Advertisement. Chapter 60. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. I don't know how long it has passed before the red dog's spirit is on the verge of collapse. In the hands of Mu Feng, the red dog has endured 273 deaths. Fortunately, it is Akadog, with extreme character and mental will. If it is changed to Kizaru, it is probably a mental breakdown. My thoughts move slightly, and the moon reading space collapses. The world of monthly reading has gone through 3 days and 3 nights, but to the outsiders, it is only 1 second. What everyone saw was the red dog rushing towards Mu Feng suddenly stopped in midair. Then in the next moment, the red dog slumped directly to the ground. Sengoku, Garp, Crane, Aokiji, Kizaru, Zephyr, Huo Xiao Shan, Daubman, Stallo Berry, Bastille. Marine sergeants at all levels. Everyone was stunned to see what happened just now. What's up? In an instant, Sakazuki Admiral fell down. Are you dazzled by yourself? Rubbing his eyes and looking at it again. AKA Inu still fell to the ground. 240. Everyone looked at each other. No one could explain what happened just now. Old bastard, what kind of tricks the kid Mu Feng used? Sengoku was obviously a little confused, looked at Garp aside, and asked. I don't know. Garp's answer was clean. Advertisement. You ask me. Who shall I ask? Comma 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 comma. Raising the foot and stepping directly on the red dog's face, the red dog didn't even react at all. This red dog's consciousness is equivalent to dementia. Pulled a knife, armament hockey covered the blade. The tip of the knife was placed on the tip of Akaji's throat. Mu Feng is hesitating whether to kill the red dog here. Admiral level powerhouse is definitely a super big experience package. Moreover, the current AKA dog completely loses consciousness. It is not too easy to kill him, as long as the mammoth blade in his hand is sent down a few inches to do it. But in the end, Mu Feng didn't decide to kill the red dog. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. First of all, there are a lot of Marines watching the game. If he kills the red dog himself and affects his promotion to Marine Admiral, it will be a lot of fun. Compared with the things dropped by killing the red dog, Zanpakuto still has more temptation for Mu Feng. Secondly, Sengoku, Garp, Crane, Aokiji, all Marine senior officials have arrived. When he saw Mu Feng put the long knife covering armament hockey on the neck of the red dog, Sengoku was half dead in fright. The red dog is still Marine Admiral. If Mu Feng kills the red dog, let alone promoted to Admiral, I guess will be sent directly to impel down. Boy, don't do it. Sengoku shouted hurriedly. Moonwalk had reached its limit, and he appeared in front of Mu Feng while breathing. Mu Feng gave up and retracted the mammoth blade to the scabbard around his waist. Looking at Sengoku, Mu Feng smiled and said, look at what you said, how could I have done anything to the red dog? Anyway, he is also a former admiral of headquarters. Marshal Sengoku, you haven't announced the result of the promotion campaign yet. What? Advertisement. Sighing, Sengoku gave Mu Feng a helpless look. Turning around, facing countless Marines who cast their eyes on him. Sengoku opened his mouth and said, I announce. Naval Headquarters Lieutenant General Monkey D. Mu Feng, this Admiral promotion challenge is successful. Starting today, Sakazuki will serve as Marines General Counsel, the rank is equal to Admiral. The new Admiral. It will be held by Monkey D. Mu Feng. The code name is. Having said that, Sengoku turned his attention to Mu Feng. Mu Feng didn't hesitate, he had already thought about the title. Bad, in other words, the only thing Mu Feng did in the past 2 days is to think about the title of Admiral again. Aokiji, Kizaru, aka Inu. Chickens, monkeys, dogs. The level of this naming is simply the shining aka dog. Ah. It's not as good as the Fujitora and Green Bull. Therefore, if Mu Feng was killed, he would not agree to let Sengoku give himself a title. Blue, yellow, red. The colors represent the fruit abilities of Aokiji, Kizaru, and aka Inu. I haven't eaten any devil fruit. I have a white board, and I'm headed bye-bye. And the bear, although not the strongest animal in the world of One Piece. But in the past life of Mu Feng. Undoubtedly, the true king of the land, a terrifying beast. Bear usually has a gentle personality and does not actively attack others. But if you are angered, it will definitely be extremely crazy and terrifying. These are also very similar to Mu Feng's personality. That's why Mu Feng took his title by Shang. Comma 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 comma. The code name is White Bear. White Bear Admiral, Sengoku said solemnly. Sengoku's voice echoed throughout the sea. All Marines had already heard it. Admiral's promotion in 100 years. Advertisement. Mu Feng wins. Sakazuki. Defeated. No one spoke, because everyone was still in shock. No one will deny that this century-old admiral promotion battle is not fierce. Because the entire island has become a sea of magma. But no one can tell how Mu Feng won. Goo. Goo. More than half of Marine swallowed. Powerful, weird, and extremely weird. This is the thought that came up in all Marines' hearts after watching this admiral promotion battle. Aokiji, Kizaru, and aka Inu, all three of them are the top Logia demon fruit power, and they are almost the same. Perhaps the youngest, Aokiji, may be slightly worse than Kizaru and aka Inu, but it is also insignificant. This is basically the consensus of all Marines. But after today, this consensus will change. Mu Feng defeated the Red Dog and ascended to the position of Admiral. In the same way, it can be considered that Mu Feng is completely capable of defeating Aokiji and Kizaru. In other words, after today, Mu Feng is the undeniable strongest admiral. Haiyuan Calendar 1515. Naval Headquarters Lieutenant General Monkey D. Mu Feng, through the Admiral promotion battle, became the new Admiral of Headquarters. At only 17 years old, he reduced the record of 38 years set by Zephyr to Marine Admiral, shortening it for 21 years. There will be no one before, and there will be no one afterwards. 3 days later, the news spread across the sea, the world shook. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtlnovel for free. Advertisement.